investigative team show.
Call in the test. Do you need a movie review? Call in the test.
Right on.
No, I'm not leaving any of this in. This is god awful.
This is piss.
Yeah, this is piss.
A little rusty.
But that's fine. So yeah, we came back from seeing Star Wars: The Last Jedi,
We saw The Last Jedi, yeah.
and I don't know what to call it. Everyone else was raving about it. I didn't watch any spoilers before seeing the film. I didn't read or watch any videos.
Right.
I went in completely blind, and I'm all right. I'm gonna break it down as easy as I can. Half of the movie is so freaking fantastic. The other half of the movie, I was literally like, I almost felt like saying it out loud. Like I wanted to ask questions.
Well, when you say the other half, sounds like, oh, well, the first 45 was good.
No, that's not what I mean. It's not what I mean. I mean half of the movie on average. Like
half of the story you like.
A scene here, a scene there.
Like
I might watch 2 or 3 scenes in a row that bored the fuck out of me, and then I saw one scene that was just amazing, and I wanted my jaw to drop.
What bored the fuck out of you?
The pacing was bad. And some of the storytelling, I just the story's okay. It was just the execution of the storytelling.
Right.
All that stuff with spoilers here. All that stuff with Rey and Kylo doing those conversations. You got a towel or a shirt or.
I didn't mind them so much. I thought it was kind of.
I could suspend belief to a point.
Yeah.
What
about
like Leia feeling Luke? He's gone.
Right.
Like that's been in every Star Wars movie. Feeling the presence.
I don't have a problem
like when
with
Han died.
I don't have a problem with the force sensitive people seeking each other out. It makes sense.
Yeah, but having those kinds of conversations, that's something we've never seen in Star Wars before. In film.
I think that's why the people are saying it's a different kind of Star Wars.
It's very different.
When they say that, I'm sure they're saying that.
Yeah.
One aspect of it.
But
how about Leia's Harry Potter scene?
Yeah, that was terrible. That was terrible. You're referring to what I said earlier about when when Harry Carey decided to announce a baseball game.
When Harry met Carrie.
When Harry met Sally.
When Harry met Carrie.
When Carrie Fisher gets blown out of the bridge out into space, and then decides to force awaken after a few minutes. And fucking do a Harry Potter glide back to the ship. That was a weird choice, Yeah. Could have had it where she was, just blown out there, and a droid got her in, like R2 did something, or you know what I mean? Something like that would have been fucking awesome. And then, of course, they would have had her in the back of the tank, and they could have told the story the same way, just without that.
Or why even show that? Why even show her being blown out if you don't want her blown out?
Yeah, well, they had to show how she got hurt, but she could have got hurt any number of ways during that battle. I don't know. That took me out of it.
I don't think it's a scene you needed to put in to eventually show that she was hurt or something. I didn't. Either you kill her or you don't. Kill her.
I don't want to really talk bad about Carrie Fisher because
nobody's talking bad.
No, I don't mean talk bad.
Don't talk ill of the dead.
I just don't want listeners to think that I didn't appreciate her performance, because other than that scene, I thought her performance was really good. And I'm glad, that she got one really good performance out before she went.
It's not her performance.
It was really good.
Like you said, it's the director's choice of writing that and actually filming that.
Yeah, there was a lot of bad directorial decisions being made. But Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher were great.
Yeah, Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill in that final battle.
Yeah.
The camera angles, those low, I love, you know me, I've said this before.
Yeah.
When they get that camera almost on the ground, and you got this wide angle, and it's low, like, you know, like Ridley Scott's big on those low camera angles.
Right.
And just the contrast of, you know, the cape, dude, everything was so awesome.
Oh, no, it was dope.
You know, the filming was great there.
It
and Mark Hamill's performance was very good.
It had an homage to, like, old trilogy kind of stuff.
Big time.
That's what I like.
Big time.
Yeah.
Another positive for me is every single moment, everything that happens in Snoke's throne room.
Yeah.
Is
by far
I love
that's
it. The color palette, the lighting, the just everything in there is so cool.
They always seem
Snoke was badass.
Oh yeah. They always seem to put a good lightsaber scene in the Star Wars.
The only issue that felt like I don't know, that was weird was like, okay, you know, finally get Snoke with the Force thing with the lightsaber, and then he has to fight the guards, but it's really of no consequence. The only thing is like, okay, they're fighting together, which is cool.
Yeah.
But there's really not much to lose because you know they're gonna cut through them like butter because it's like, you know what I'm saying? There are our main characters fighting guards.
Right.
You know.
Right.
It was almost like in the prequels, you know, it's like they were just throwing these droids around left and right, like they may as well not have even been there. So there was like almost like no emotional consequence. There was nothing to tether me that emotionally to that fight, but it was filmed really cool. It was badass.
Yeah, it was,
and you know, it showed them potentially connecting, and then he decides to he just can't shake the. Want to control the galaxy,
the dark
thing.
Side.
Yeah,
he's possessed by the
he
dark
just
side.
can't he just can't do it.
Yeah, that was that's gonna go down as a good scene. Good plot twist. I like that. I liked how
they did a couple of twisty little things.
I thought
there was a lot of good
scene.
setups and payoffs, but it was just the pacing of the film was weird, like the way they did it. You know, I was able to follow this. It's not like I wasn't able to follow the story. It wasn't, you know, a Quentin Tarantino film, an early Quentin Tarantino film. I was able to follow it really, you know, no issue.
Yeah, a Star Wars Tarantino film would only take place in
Star Wars
one
Tarantino
scene.
film.
It'd be one scene. It'd be like a cantina.
I would like to see him do a Star Wars film, but not like something within the Star Wars universe, like something unexpected, like something that, you know, some other planet, some other character,
right.
Something like not, you know, no Force, no TIE fighters, no X-wings, just something on a weird, you know, outer rim backwater planet, like some cool fucking story, you know, that would be kind of neat, just, you know, with the Star Wars aesthetic and, you know, design, that would be cool.
It'd take place in only one scene though.
Yeah, you know.
A room somewhere.
You could do a movie about a swoop gang on some planet somewhere, you know.
Right.
That would be kind of neat. But the one thing that really bothered me was when I was talking about the setups and payoffs earlier.
Right.
They set up that character, Benicio del Toro's character. They set that character up as a really good character, you know, as a cool character. I liked him.
Right.
And they set it up where, like, you know, he sold them out. You know, to Phasma and the you know, the
New Order.
First Order.
New
You know, he sold them out, but he kind of like was looking at him and did that little stutter thing, and I was like, okay, you know, here he is. It's almost like, you know, a Lando. He's helping him out, like he sold him out, but now he's actually, you know, because they showed this, they developed this character to be like really intelligent, being able to fucking be a swindler, and that's his thing.
Yeah, scoundrel.
And he was nice enough to give back the fucking piece, and it was almost like he was on their side. And so it wasn't like he really helped them out, you know, other than maybe he had a hand in BB-8 getting away, but they didn't really show that. I just assumed BB-8 got away on his own.
Right.
And we didn't see anything from that. There wasn't a payoff to that. So maybe we'll see his character again in another film, and he'll come around and
didn't BB-8
help them
command
out, because they're going to need him in the Resistance. They're going to need him.
Well, he's like a Han Solo type.
The code breaker. They're going to need him.
Yeah, he's like a Han Solo type. That's all.
No, he's a good actor, and I liked his character. I liked what he did a lot.
Didn't BB-8
facial tics and mannerisms.
BB-8 commanded a little Scout Walker, and remember?
Yeah, BB-8 kicking a little
that's
ass.
how he came out, right?
Yeah, he wound up inside a
right, and he started, and that's how they
little
escaped.
chicken walker. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It leads. It keeps. What's his name? His character will definitely probably show up in the last one.
I hope so. I hope they bring him back because he was a good character, and I liked what he brought as an actor, his presence to the character.
Yeah,
you know those little. He stuttered a lot, and he had those little tics. You know,
what about?
He was kind of a greaseball. I liked him.
Yeah, he was a scoundrel.
Yeah,
card
he
player.
was a good character. Yeah,
scoundrel, card player.
Yeah.
Outrun the
no prison can hold him, you know.
Outrun the Imperial slugs.
Yeah.
Don't you all thank me at once.
I liked the new character Rose. She was good.
Yeah, she held her own.
She was the type of character you needed in this movie. You needed to have somebody like she even you know what I mean, like she was the empathetic one.
Right.
The one that was doing this for all the right reasons. A real hero type. Just a regular person, but with conviction. And, you know, what did she say? Something about this is how we win by not fighting what we hate, but saving what we love. And,
right.
You know,
right.
that
Something
was
like
it was a nice.
Yeah,
and she delivered the line really well. It was good.
Yeah, it was a little theme.
And it looks like her
theme of the resistance.
Her and Finn are gonna have a little relationship here. You know,
maybe. Still after Rey.
Yeah, he likes Rey.
He loves Rey.
But I don't know.
He hugged her big time when they finally met.
Yeah. But you saw at the end, Rey was looking at him while he was with her, you know, helping her with the blanket and all that.
Right. You know, he's got multiple love interests.
Yeah.
The lucky
Anything
guy.
Can happen.
The lucky guy. Yeah. What do you give it?
Kylo was good. I'm afraid I don't want to give my score yet.
I think I think you could give your initial score. That's important.
It's tough because I have to think about it like this. There's a lot of issues with this movie, but I liked it. I didn't love it. I wasn't excited about this as it was about Blade Runner in our last podcast.
Yeah.
Blade Runner, I thought, was a better it was a more cohesive. This isn't a cohesive film. The pacing's fucking strange, and a lot of it bored me.
Right.
Even though and here's another thing. Too much CGI, man. I know I sound like an old man, but
which parts?
Just throughout.
Right. Well, that's going to be the norm now.
In any film. Hey, not just Star Wars.
You look at the trilogy,
but especially Star Wars.
You look at the prequels, and
the prequel is nothing but a fucking green screen the entire movie.
You know, I always say this now. I almost think when you watch the prequels, it's almost like if Disney did them now. You know what I mean?
It's almost the reverse. It's counterintuitive. You would think it's the other way around.
Right, because they're so heavy in CGI. You'd think, oh wow,
yeah, like
Disney
they
made these
Pixar come
and
help us make some fucking stormtroopers.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so heavily CGI the prequels.
Yeah.
And then you realize.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great practical effects in this film.
Yeah. But
there's a lot of great model miniatures. Those ships.
Yeah.
There were some great fucking ships introduced in this.
Oh,
that beginning scene with those bombers.
Yeah.
Those ships were really cool, man.
Yeah. No,
slow moving. Those were cool, man. Snoke's ship is fucking amazing.
All the vehicles are great in the Star Wars world. I always love the vehicles. The ships.
Design and Star Wars
speeders,
is really good.
Spaceships.
Kylo's TIE fighter is so cool. I want to pilot one. I want one in
laser
my
guns,
lot. You know. I want one in my driveway.
Which one?
Kylo's.
The TIE Rider?
Yeah.
TIE fighter?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a sucker for Kylo, though, man. It's not so much the character or the actor, it's the design.
Yeah,
the costume design.
It's sleek. It's really sleek. It's dope.
And his ships and everything about him.
No.
And everything about the First Order is sick, man.
The new trilogy.
Snoke's throne room is my favorite thing in Star Wars right now.
The new trilogy, everything is super cool visually. Ships, costume design.
Yeah.
Throne rooms, everywhere.
Yeah, I love the set
even
design.
Luke, everywhere where Luke was on the island, that big cave inside that old tree, his little hut. Everything is dope.
Yeah.
How about the X-wing submerged in the water?
A lot of people though
remember that
saying,
scene?
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was badass.
Well, here's the thing. They're saying, oh, it's not a callback to Empire Strikes Back, but you know what? There's a lot of Empire Strikes Back callback in this movie.
Oh yeah.
The island that he's on has kind of got that Dagobah thing with the twisted tree and the dark side hole, that place, that cave that she goes into. You have the X-wing under the water.
Right.
Luke, not wanting to take on the training and saying, you do this, that, the other thing. You had the Hoth parallels. You had Yavin 4 parallels. That's not so much.
Right.
That's Star Wars though. But that was kind of mixed.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff. The fight, the duel between Rey and Kylo.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I think I give it a 7.5. Right.
That's what I gave Force Awakens.
I give it a 7.5. I'm definitely gonna go see it again. I want to watch it again with different eyes and.
Yeah, I don't want to give it the same score as Force Awakens because. If I'm gonna score just on how much I enjoyed the film, overall, like minute for minute, I think Force Awakens was a better roller coaster ride. It was a good Star Wars film. It was fun to watch. This movie wasn't fun all the way. Yeah. However, Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill, and the Snoke thing, and Benicio del Toro, and stumbling over my words here, but all that stuff was so much better
the price of admission
than what was going on in the first movie. So like there's a give and take. I think if this movie was edited a little differently and they changed just a couple little things, man,
Yeah.
Like the Carrie Fisher floating, doing the Harry Potter fucking floating back to the thing. Do something with that. Do something with some of the editing and pacing.
Can't do anything. That's already in there now.
And there was a couple of scenes, like Daisy Ridley's a really good actress. And I thought her performance in the first movie was excellent. And in most of this movie, she was very good. But in about a third of it, there was a few scenes especially where it felt like, I think I said this to you in the car, it felt like a 14-year-old giving their report in front of a class.
Right.
Didn't feel like...
It was a little flat.
Yeah, and I blame that on the directing.
Yeah.
And the dialogue. Not all the dialogue was great, but a lot of it was good. The humor felt like Star Wars.
Yeah. It had a lot of humor in this too. I noticed.
Yoda. They used a puppet. And there's your other Empire Strikes Back callbacks.
Yeah, right there.
Yoda as a ghost talking to him. They even use the same camera angles. Yoda coming up to the front with Luke in the back. I mean, it's almost a perfectly lined up shot.
Did we need to see that though? Did you need to see Yoda?
No, but it
worked?
It didn't hurt the story. In fact, if anything, it helped. Luke needed it to come to terms with what he needed to really do.
Right.
And he had help from Rey. He had help from Yoda. He had help from R2, and maybe a little help from Chewie.
And Leia.
I would imagine, but did they really communicate? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It wasn't until the end he already made up his mind to come and help. But yeah, he was really good. I like he does the little brush off the shoulder. Right.
It was there were times I thought there was stuff a little too cutesy though with the humor. I was like
a little bit.
Yeah.
But every Star Wars movie, every single one, even the prequels, every single one is chock full of that.
It's bubblegum.
It's gotta be there.
Bubblegum and opera.
It
Star
can't
Wars
take itself too seriously.
It's
Star Wars.
That's what Ryan Johnson says. It's bubblegum and opera. Yeah, I don't know. I always tend Star Wars to be a little bit more serious than the humor.
I would prefer it that way.
I want it more serious, and I don't care about the little Star Wars quirks and humor and stuff.
And maybe I'm biased, but the the old school humor. I mean, Harrison Ford giving us those little, sly, smart ass, little one-liners here and there. And That's
like
where the Star Wars humor was at its best.
R2 getting shot out of a monster's mouth on Dagobah and going, woo.
Yeah.
R2, stop screwing around.
Yeah.
And you're like, but you look back and you're like, yeah, that's kind of corny.
Yeah.
But you accepted it. Yeah. That's what you have to do in the Star Wars world.
Yeah, and Yoda coming out all silly to test Luke.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That's fine.
Yeah, it was a little silly. I found it a little silly. Could have been a little more serious, a little bit more serious.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, I compare it to that. Like,
right.
That was a little silly too, but it worked.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
You gotta think of it like an old kung fu movie. He's testing him. He's not letting you. I'm not. Letting you think that he's not the master.
Right.
See how you handle his personality.
Right.
A little test.
The test.
But yeah, the Yoda thing was cool. I thought that was okay. I don't know. Would I do without it? Those are the moments that made it feel like Star Wars.
Yeah. I liked all the. I liked the scene when we discussed this earlier too, as well. The perspective of how Luke came about knowing that Kylo was evil and he has tendencies.
Oh yeah, and getting to see the same story from
Kylo's,
two different perspectives.
Kylo's point of view, he's like rage with hate in his eyes.
Yeah,
ready
because
to strike him down.
He didn't know. Yeah, that was really well done.
And
that was well done.
And then from Luke's point of view, it was just and
it didn't feel like
for a second I was thinking about striking him down.
Nonsense.
Right?
It made sense. Let us get deeper into the character's thought process.
Both those scenes were great. That was great Star Wars there. Because you saw another side to Luke.
Yeah, it was almost kind of like those murder mystery things where you see it from one person's
it was
perspective.
That was
and
badass.
The same scene from another person's perspective, and it seems a little different.
I don't know. I just know now, even going back to waiting for Blade Runner, the rest of this beginning of this year, I'm just like, I'm okay with, I don't want to get my expectations up too high with movies anymore. I just don't want to. Because I'm just like, oh, I'm so psyched. This movie's coming out. And then I see it, and I'm just like, you know what? Didn't live up to what I thought it was going to be.
I think I'm rubbing off on you a little bit. Because I always say how I go in cynical, expecting garbage. And sometimes I come out pleasantly surprised.
I don't go in expecting garbage. I just want to be like...
I just know that somebody's going to fuck it up.
I just want to be blown away like, oh, man, that was a really good fucking movie.
But you know what? Think about it. Like, there's so many great fucking movies that we love, so much. There's just so many awesome movies to watch. But, they didn't all come out back-to-back in one year. You know what I'm saying? They come out sporadically here and there. There's a stroke of genius, a little lightning in a bottle somewhere.
Yeah.
Someone that just, with a really good vision and really just got their art just right.
Yeah. I guess
like a musical performance.
Yeah. I'm just jaded about a lot of stuff because I've seen a lot of stuff and I'm expecting a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
It never comes to
fruition.
There's
plenty of reasons to be jaded too, especially now. With the state of the industry, the state of mainstream audiences, the way that entertainment is consumed.
Like all the
these days, it all has a part to play. And
you saw the trailer of the Avengers movie coming out.
Yeah, I saw it,
and I was just like,
I don't give a fuck about it.
I don't give a fuck.
No offense, people are going to listen to this and be like, what?
No.
They're not going to do like a 12-part series about all the fucking Marvel movies? No, that's not
the comic book world's cool. It's not me.
Doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me either. And I have friends who are big comic book people.
DC Universe hasn't been doing it for me either.
Yeah.
I like the first two Nolan Batman movies.
The comic
Wonder
book
Woman
world
was entertaining.
In general. Yeah, I don't go crazy.
Some older movies, the old Batman movies. And
yeah,
stuff,
of course.
But I'm talking about what's going on now.
Yeah, I don't.
Especially this new Batman vs Superman and Man of Steel and Justice League.
Yeah, they're all so bad.
I just wish it. I wish it didn't
all
exist.
so bad. I mean,
I just wish they didn't do it.
If we were hanging out,
franchise, do it good.
If we were hanging out and you put it on, I would be like, yeah, I'll watch it. I'll watch it with it. But I'm like, I'm not running out.
I'm not going to sit home and watch it.
I'm not running out to the theater to see any of those movies. I don't go around.
I'm not even going to sit at home and fucking watch it.
I don't go out and see any comic book movie unless it's somewhat interesting. And
I'm just turning around to look at the screen.
Someone drags me to the theater. I'm not going to go see it. I did see that last X-Men movie, Logan. Is pretty badass though. It's a good ending character movie. Patrick Stewart's awesome in it. It's a good Wolverine ending film. It's
I from
if
some
you want to watch
people
something soon, if you want to watch something in the next month or so, stream that or download it or however you want to get it. It's good. It's entertaining.
Well,
man.
you know what I've been watching, which a podcast is coming up soon for that. I've been brushing up on all my Star Trek. Finally watching.
Are we
all the
talking about
series in
Star
order
Trek or Star Wars now?
without a break, man.
Oh yeah, I know. It's good. Yeah,
So we're gonna get Balone over here.
we're gonna do a Star
Trek.
Trek episode.
Yeah,
Big one.
my one
Star
friend.
Trek
I
episode.
told
Star Trek lore.
I told Izzy from the other podcast, those
Yeah.
Ancient Geeks. For those of you listening, tune into that show. I told him to join us because he thinks I'm crazy. I say Voyager is my favorite. And
Right.
I think Voyager is Balone's favorite as well. And I know it ranks high on your list.
Yeah.
And he thinks it's like down with Enterprise.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're crazy, man. I love Voyager.
Yeah.
Janeway's my captain,
Well, not to go off, but that's part of those three. It's just like a storyline arc of those three shows from Next Generation,
Deep Space Nine,
Deep
and
Space
Voyager.
Nine, and Voyager.
Yeah.
They're all connect in that time zone
Yeah.
because they're all relevant
Well,
to each
Voyager's separated by, several decades.
other. No.
But it gets there. Yeah, it gets to that point.
No, it's still in the realm because if you watch some of the movies,
Yeah.
if you watch the last Next Generation film, Janeway is in it. She does a little cameo in it because they're all together. That's why they were really good because it was expanding the Star Trek universe, the Star Trek lore. Those three films. So when I talk to people,
The Borg versus the First Order. Who wins?
the Borg by far.
The
Of course,
Ferengi versus
Ferengi,
versus the Gungans.
the Gungans, the Gungadinis.
All
All right, we should go back to
the Bajorans versus the Jedi.
the Bajorans. Please. The Jedi would win,
Totally.
but some Bajorans would probably be Jedi. So it's kind of people are like, what the fuck are they talking about, these geeks? But
Data versus 3PO.
Who?
Data versus 3PO.
Oh, Data.
Data wins. Data beats his
First,
ass.
Data's like 10 times stronger as a human being, and
he
he's
probably
super smart.
speaks more languages than 3PO too.
It's a whole world. But so what do you give the Last Jedi? What do you give it?
It's, again, like I said, half of the movie. I don't mean like the first half, the second half. I mean just a scene, then another scene. Scene by scene. Overall, half of the movie bored me, and about a third of it, I thought the dialogue was just not there, and just the pacing and editing was crap in a lot of places. Not crap. Don't get me wrong. It's good. This is top-notch filmmaking, but it just didn't flow. It just didn't do it right. But then the other half was so good. There were parts in it that were rank up there with Empire, and even better than Force Awakens and Star Wars. It's tough, man. And I don't want to go right in the middle of the road and just give it a 5 because half of it was great, half of it sucked. I can't give it the same score as Force Awakens because there are things about it that are better, but then things about it are worse.
I don't think you could ever give a Star Wars movie that low a number unless it's a prequel.
If you're going to sit down with the family and eat popcorn and watch a movie, Force Awakens is the one to do. Because that one's more fun. It's more of a roller coaster. It's more fun. It has movie magic. It flows well. It's paced well. Abrams did a really good job pacing that film. This one's, you gotta stay awake for this movie. Yeah, you gotta stay awake for this one. When I get it on DVD, I might fall asleep to this a few times. Might take me a few tries to get through it. I watched Force Awakens last night to get ready to see this today, just to have it fresh on my mind and, look for things in continuity that I might have forgot about since the last time I saw it. And, it just felt like, it went quickly. It was like a television episode. This thing felt like, I don't know, it was 2 hours, 20 minutes, 2.5 hours. And what did I say? It felt like fucking 5 hours.
12 hours.
12 hour. It felt like a shift of work.
Well, all I know now that this second one has come out of the new trilogy, they could have definitely kept Han Solo to this movie. There's no need to kill him off.
Could have
sacrificed him in this movie.
Could have. But
Luke could have been the hero
mind,
for this one, and then buy it in the next one. There's no reason, because all of a sudden you have,
Well, think of it this way:
you have these two major characters are gone now, unless they're going to come back.
Obi-Wan Kenobi only lasted half of the first movie,
right?
Before he goes off to, you know what I'm saying?
But that was the
this
first.
This is to develop the Luke character.
That's the first.
Now
new
Rey
one.
meets Luke, but it takes her until the second movie to meet him.
Yeah.
Or the tail end.
You could still write these characters in for longer shows.
I just wish that
it's not impossible. People do it all the time.
He would have been able to communicate to her personally somehow to pass along something to make it count, to make his sacrifice count. His sacrifice, of course, counted. It counted for what he had to do with Kylo on a, a man-to-man, psychological level.
Right.
Tell him what was up. He did it, for his sister. He did it for the cause. He did it for all the right reasons.
Right.
He never was able to communicate it with Rey.
Right.
So that feels a little strange, We didn't have that, I'll always be with you. The Force will always be with you, or whatever. But you know what? Just because, he's gone by the end of this film doesn't mean we don't see him as some kind of Force ghost, or
I was going to say that. I think
voice or a vision.
I think he'll definitely have a Force ghost appearance.
Yeah, they're making the Force just too much of a magic thing now.
Right.
Before it was something that was intangible, and you know what I mean. It made them be able to.
I liked how he said
do things. Focus.
I liked how he said, "What do you think the Force is now?"
The Force used to be Buddhism.
Right.
Now it's fucking wizards and warriors and shit. You know what I mean?
It's more.
It's too much might and magic.
Well, it's more of a middle ground. It's like he said. It's what binds us together. The universe.
No, I'm glad that he actually said
that's
that
what I mean.
and got us away from the midichlorian.
Right.
But that's okay. But that's the lip service we got. But what we see in the Force is that it just gets exponentially stronger and crazier. I mean, these things that they do.
Right.
It's not so much of a focus yourself and fight like a samurai. It's
How about the
literally doing magic.
The ending shot, the little kid with the broom. With
that was clever. That was clever.
With the resistant ring.
Yeah, I like the ending. The ending warmed the cockles of my heart.
Yeah. It made me believe in the lore
future.
again.
Yeah.
Oh, the lore. Oh, the Star Wars lore.
Yeah, they're bringing us kind of full circle back to a small resistance now.
Yeah.
And now that the other characters are pretty much gone, I mean, we can't have Leia in the next movie because Carrie Fisher passed away. So they'll have to make this like maybe it's 5 years later, and our new young crew gets their own movie now. Maybe we'll get a cameo, hopefully by Lando would be awesome. One of my favorite.
Yeah,
one of my favorite characters.
You killed off
not just Star Wars characters. One of my favorite characters.
You killed off Han and Luke
in film.
Breathing as characters in these movies. You got to circle the wagons and bring in
to
all the other
there,
old
man.
characters. What the fuck?
I wanted him in the first movie. I wanted him in this one. Now I gotta have him in the next one. And it's not just for fan service. It's for storytelling. You know what I mean? It's
so
fucking
curious.
Star Wars. Lando has a part to play.
I am so curious now. I've been reading up that they initially, for The Force Awakens, they threw out Lucas's idea how the story went. Wasn't even close.
They didn't even consider it.
Yeah. So now I'm curious. I want to get my hands on what his storyline would have been for The Force Awakens. I'm curious.
What he wrote for those prequels. Unattended, and they just let him do his thing. Listen, the original Star Wars movie.
He was coming from a different angle.
Right.
He wanted
did
another
the
generation.
First Star Wars movie.
Star Wars people. That's all.
And everyone knows it's well-known fact that movie was saved in post, in its edit, and actually a lot of it in post.
Which
Even
one?
the fucking
Which one?
opening crawl was saved.
Which one?
In post. The original Star Wars.
Oh, A New Hope.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Kushner did Empire. Along to Lucas's notes of, the outline of where the story goes. So, you know what I mean? Like, Lucas isn't a great filmmaker. He's got some good ideas. He's got a lot of bad ideas.
Yeah.
And
But you got to give him shit. You got not give him shit.
I'll give him credit
give
for
him credit.
You know,
That's what I meant to say.
you know what I give? You know what I give him the most credit for?
Well, it's his
He
thing.
sold it for what?
4.2 billion.
4.2 billion.
I think.
Didn't he give up like $6 million immediately to like some charity, some really
I have no
worthwhile
idea.
charity?
I have no idea.
He gave a shitload of money to charity.
He could just
you
give me
know,
20
that's-
grand. I'd be happy.
You know, but he gave to like a children's charity or something.
sure
like
he
that,
did. I'm
Right,
sure he
right,
did.
right off the bat, like a huge chunk of it.
I'm sure he did.
You know, good for him. You know, but yeah, man. Nobody reined him in. He was too big for anyone to question him. And
Well, why
say
would
no.
you? This guy's did his own thing and he made money and he was smart about it.
Yeah.
I just think that all I'm saying is I'd like to hear the story. If I could find out if there's a script out there or anything, I'd be interested in reading. That's all. I would think you would keep the guy as a consultant on and saying, we hear your idea, but we're not going in that direction.
I don't know about keeping him as consultant because look what that did to Indiana Jones. Crystal Skull. Look what it did to that.
Yeah, the Crystal Skull was kind of pissed.
That had George Lucas all over it. It was his idea to have the stupid aliens in the crystal
I
skulls.
don't have a problem with
place.
that. I think that's kind of cool. But I think he rushed it and it wasn't shot on location. He just rushed it. There was a rushed movie.
I think they let him have too much input in that film.
And I don't have a problem with new people
I don't think they
coming
took
in
that
with
film
fresh
seriously
ideas for
from the
movies.
beginning anyway.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with new writers or writer directors coming in for a new idea for Star Wars. I have no problem with that.
It feels like they just said,
I
all
just
right,
think-
it's Indiana Jones. We'll just slap
I think
all
you should
these
keep some of
parts
the Lucas
together,
around.
and here you go.
The Lucas essence you must keep around somewhat because it's his creation. It's his fucked up, crazy story that it is cool. You know, keep it. I mean, what's done is done. I mean, he's out of the picture.
Yep.
But
I think fucking THX 1138 is
That's
better than all
that's
the
a great
prequels
movie.
combined. Robert Duvall, Donald
That's a
Pleasance.
that's a classic science fiction
Anything
movie.
Donald Pleasance is in.
If anybody
watching.
hasn't seen that, go rent that movie.
Yeah.
It's his first movie after film school.
And believe it or not, that's one of the few films that has a special edition that has like
Yeah.
upgraded stuff that I actually recommend over the original. If you watch THX 1138, watch the special edition.
Yeah. There's various versions. I think I have 2 copies.
Yeah, I don't have it on Blu-ray. I bought it on DVD before Blu-rays even
Me
existed.
too. I have it on the
And
DVD.
it came with an extra a feature where it was just the sound design,
Wow, that's cool.
so you could watch it without any dialogue.
You see, this
just
is
the sound design.
This is why people be like, why is
sound
this?
design of THX is amazing.
So well, it's a precursor to Star Wars.
Yep.
You hear a lot of shit in that, and the way they.
Oh, there's a lot of great trivia in that. That's
Yeah,
where
yeah.
most of the fucking sound design from Star Wars came from. Was born from that film. In fact, the term Wookiee comes from that film. There's some background chatter where they hired guys to come in and talk through a radio for little background chatter.
Right.
We have a 113 on a 2.
Yeah, I love that shit.
There's
I love
one guy and
that
he's
shit.
like, oh, we got a Wookiee on 237.
Oh, that's
And
dope.
he said Wookiee because that was like some weird nickname that he had for a friend of his.
Right.
And he said he would figure out a way to get him to like a shout out to him into the film he
that's
was
dope.
doing.
That's
and
fat.
his nickname was Wookiee.
That's dope.
So he's like, yeah, we got a Wookiee on a blah 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 blah.
Oh,
and that
that's
name
awesome.
popped out and stuck out to them. And
That's
so
great.
he wound up using Wookiee as Wookiees for Star Wars.
Nah,
So that's where that comes from.
That's what I mean. It's like he created this whole fucking
So much great
this
stuff
this
came
lore
out of that movie.
that we follow. We don't even us humans don't
Yep.
even care about the lore that are around now.
Yep.
We're so involved in this.
And Princess Leia was
this
in
make believe lore that
in
is better
Star
than
Wars
our
on
real
the Death
lives.
Star. She's in
Fucked
Cell
up.
1138.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's all clever shit. They always do that. Filmmakers, they always put something in there, Easter eggs for you to find about them. It's dope. But I was saying about having the DVD copies. The reason I like collecting DVDs and Blu-rays is that you get different versions of these movies, and there's a lot of commentary in the background, like an extra disc.
Yeah,
of
like
shit.
the new version will have other people doing
Other
commentary.
people, and that's what's genius about owning these, is that you have all this extra
Yeah, you can get
knowledge
the director on one, you can get
about
some of the
these
actors
movies.
on another.
So don't dismiss having them, because when your fucking cable goes out, you won't be able to stream shit. But
Yeah.
if you have a TV, a Honda generator, and a Blu-ray player, you can watch movies in the fucking cold.
Yeah, with all this net neutrality.
Yeah, with all this net
nonsense now,
neutrality bullshit.
When you can't afford
Yeah.
to pay a $300 bill to fucking watch YouTube.
I hope that gets reversed, man. I can't believe.
There's a lot of stuff going on right now.
Yeah,
so
I know. There's a lot of
we'll
lawsuits,
wait and
but
see.
it's like it's crazy how
it's
it's
not
like.
over yet. There's
You
a
know,
lot of states
I would
bringing
think
up
the big guys.
charges, and
I would think the
I don't
big
want to date
people.
the video too much and talk about that.
I think the big people in charge, all the big names who are running studios now, who didn't run studios from a different, commerce way, how they made money, should stand up and say, no, we're not going to do this. We want people to have it equal and fair, and enjoy it. There's no need to price gouge fucking people. I can't believe it. I don't want to go on it either, but that's fucked up. It's
that's
fucked
what
up.
companies and corporations do, though. I mean, that's
Right.
you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Like that's how.
Right. Well, what they'll do is they'll put packages out. You can get this one for that speed.
Unfettered capitalism.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
it's also a way to like.
capitalism is great, but you got to regulate it. You know.
Yeah, it's.
Can't let them
I don't
get
want.
away
I don't.
with
I don't want to
just-
get involved, but I think it's sad.
Yeah. Again, it's
that
you
they
know,
that they voted
make it
against
too
it.
political or too dated with the topic, so
just-
people can listen to this later down the
Anyway,
road.
what I was originally talking about
Be
is
like, wow, those guys were so worried about net neutrality, and we figured that shit out fucking 2 years ago.
yeah, man. What are you telling about that shit? It was nothing. You worried
These
about.
fucking guys talking
Yeah.
about Y2K bug and shit.
It's just
man.
part of the digital divide for people. That's all. It's having certain people having access and other people out and shutting them out, and it's fucked up. Not in this day and age, because people will smash the machines anyway. If shit gets so bad, there will be a rebellion.
Will
There
they
will be a
rage
resistance
against the machines?
Yes, they will. Don't worry about robots and artificial intelligence taking over. It's not going to happen. It's not going to be like the Terminator.
Will they?
They're not
going to
take away jobs.
With a shotgun?
They're not going to take away jobs. If it got that bad, the people would revolt and they would destroy the machines that make the shops, the factories that made the machines. So all those entrepreneurs would be out of business, even if they had armed guards around their manufacturing plants. So it would really turn into a human rebellion against artificial intelligence. So I don't worry about any of that shit. We don't have self-driving cars yet in the mainstream. It's here and there. People have died already. I would not trust a fucking AI car to my driving skills. And that one
Not
chance.
yet.
Not ever. Not ever, dude. What are you, nuts? That one day you decide, oh, I'll let the car drive for myself. I end up fucking dying. Fuck you, dude. Or I get severely hurt and
but-
not die and realize, damn, why did I even think twice about holding this car?
One
in
day
charge of my life?
beyond our time, when we're long gone,
Yeah,
the roads are going to be automated.
we
It's
don't
gonna
even
be,
know that, dude. We could have another apocalypse and we're done with the civilization.
Could
You know
be.
what I mean? But
I like to try to stay a little optimistic.
yeah,
think we
I
could
am too.
progress
But
a
I'm
little
just saying,
bit
you're talking like this
amidst all this
pristine
insanity.
future where everything's automated and perfect.
Yeah, man, I want Jetsons.
And
you
all
know?
and all us humans, all we need to do is be creative. all day.
Futurama. Oh, Futurama.
Futurama, Rick and Morty, whatever, man.
No,
You know.
Rick and Morty's crazy, man.
I love Rick and Morty. I know. It's like you look at Futurama, you're like, fuck Futurama. It's still
It's
great.
cool technology in Futurama.
Oh, Futurama's. I love
Yeah.
Futurama.
Yeah.
But when you watch Rick and Morty and how fucking cuckoo it is,
Yeah.
oh my god,
A
they're
lot
out
of
of their
cool shit.
minds, and they're just running with everything. Because
I'll be happy with Star Trek technology.
yeah, but
You know,
but
replicators. Oh,
yeah,
what are the things I would do with a replicator?
of course, replicators, of course. I mean, but that storyline of a replicator in Star Trek easily.
I would make game consoles if I had a replicator.
It in writing though it kind of gives it a no-brainer
Musical instruments.
because you just don't have to write for something because we could just have you don't have to write something intricate about it because you'll just have the replicator produce it for you. So it's what I mean. It's kind of
No,
like
but
it's
you-
a weak
you
way
have
of
to
writing. That's
program-
what I'm trying to say. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's kind of a cop out because we'll just have the replicator do it. It's like
But the
we have this-
replicator costs resources, and you have to know what you have to program the replicator, so you have to know what you're
yeah,
making.
but they talk like
so you have to be in. It's ingenuity. It's just a tool to
but
bring your ingenuity to
it's
life.
crazy. It's a crazy technology.
You have
Who
to know a little
invented
bit
it?
about engineering.
They never. I don't think there's ever been a show that they showed who created it. I mean, you're manipulating atoms to make something physical.
That would be an interesting Star Trek story or an episode.
I mean,
where,
I just think it's a cop out in the writing aspect. You're right. Oh, we'll just have a replicator. It's like, how do we get from planet to spaceship?
Yeah.
Oh, we just beam down. But how's that done? Manipulating the atoms.
There's been enough explanation. On
Yeah.
transporters.
But it's just an easy
Actually,
way.
It's been a thorough. I mean,
Yeah.
every season, and even other races, like
It just takes care.
Cardassian transporters
just
are
takes-
different than our transporters.
it
They
takes-
operate on different,
Right.
what you call it, on different quantum principles.
Right. It just
They
takes
do
care of the
explain it.
writing aspect of it easily.
A lot of gobbledygook, but
Yeah. Sometimes I think it's a cop out. Because you watch a lot of science fiction and we have to wear an environmental suit to get this planet all the time. We can't just beam down. You know what I mean? And there's never a fuck up.
That's one thing that's always bothered me about anything sci-fi is when you go to another planet without environmental suits. That drives me crazy. It's one of the things that drove me crazy in Prometheus and Alien Covenant. It drove me crazy throughout fucking Star Trek.
These are just little nitpicks.
Just because you can breathe the air doesn't mean there aren't things in the air or that you're not contaminating it either.
Right. These are just little nitpicking ideas.
Yeah, that always drove me nuts.
Criticisms about science fiction in general.
Right.
But sometimes I'm just like, if they use their imagination a little bit more about how to write that, it'd probably be a lot better than just having this machine take care of the answers that we have trouble solving.
Right.
That's what's the thing about writing. That's why. But I don't know. To go back to to go back to The Last Jedi. Yeah, I give it a 7.5. I want to see it again. I'm excited. But
when I first walked out of the theater, my score was very low.
When we were walking around Best Buy, you said and I started getting more. You said I don't know. I said you go. What did you? Yeah, you said it a 6 or a 7.
Because I'm averaging.
Holy shit!
A six would be me averaging.
I don't think I'd ever give a Star Wars movie that low.
Oh, the prequels get low,
the
much
prequels,
lower than that.
But not the new
all
stuff.
three of them, and everyone's like, "Oh, Sith is great." It's not great. It's better than the other two. It has a few cool things.
I'm sorry. I'm not a big guy for the prequels, but watch Sith again. The
I
story
watched
is
it
good.
Too many times, man. It doesn't do it.
It's
for
the
me.
best
I don't
one out of the
it.
3. It's the best
but that
one.
doesn't say anything,
But it's a good storyline. You know what it
like
is?
Saying cat shit smells a little bit better than dog shit or skunk
well,
shit.
quite frankly, I think the whole
it still fucking smells like shit.
It's still duty.
Yeah.
I think the prequel storyline is kind of boring. I'm not that interested in that.
It's weak.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's not that I hate the movie so much. I just think the lore, the beginning lore of the trilogy we grew up on, it's kind of boring. I don't find it that intriguing that I'm like, oh yeah.
Are you talking about the 77 to 83?
No, I'm talking about the prequels.
Oh, the prequels. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about
because the story of Star Wars Empire of Jedi is basically
that's
it's
genius.
Basically a classic
yeah, it's classic space opera.
Yeah, it's a classic kung fu movie.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, the prequel story arc is kind of fucking boring. I don't care for
Yeah, we didn't get a hero's quest or journey in that.
We didn't
get it.
And it's funny because you hear all these kids that talk like, they're all like, oh yeah, but the prequels. I'm like, dude, the prequels suck, man.
Yeah, they do.
They're not like.
There are small elements scattered throughout. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you could give me the prequels without any visuals or any dialogue, and I could just listen to the sound design, it's fucking,
There's a guy.
It's Skywalker sound.
There's a
the
guy.
sound design's Star Wars. It's great.
If you guys,
the pod race sounds so good.
There's a guy on the internet has edited out the bad shit of all 3 trilogy prequels.
Was it fucking 5 minutes?
No. You actually see
like 4 scenes.
No. He cuts them out. Like he cuts a lot of Jar Jar Binks out of the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good. It's not bad. It's just that I shouldn't say suck. It's just they're not appealing to me as much. And I tried to like them, and I collected figures when they came out, when the Phantom Menace, because it's new Star Wars, and we didn't know we were getting new Star Wars. So of course we were flocking to it. It just, all right. What's great about the Phantom Menace? The beginning scene is dope. When the 2 Jedis land in the hangar bay, and then their ship gets blown up, and then they let this gas out. and the lightsabers are out and they're ready to do action. It's a badass scene. It's a great intro.
Yeah,
it's a great intro. But then the Jar Jar Binks shit gets
it
silly.
goes downhill from there.
It goes way down there, and the only saving cool grace of the movie is the ending with the lightsaber duel with Darth Maul.
Right,
is badass. Is up there with one of the best lightsaber fights ever.
You gotta think about this.
The music's awesome. The music is the theme music they made for that shit is dope. But as that movie goes, that's about it. Oh, and the first time you see Darth Maul when he's going through the desert on a speeder and he flies off and he confronts Liam
cinematography on that
is
was good.
dope because he flies off his one-man speeder.
Actually, all the
with his saber
cinematography
out.
with him on the like when he's sending out the probes and stuff, the camera angle on that's very good.
Yes, all that.
And then he
shit's
drops
dope.
like he goes off on that fucking speeder thing, drops down that cliff. Like it's a really good camera angle there.
But all the storyline about young Darth Vader is all fucking boring.
Yeah.
I
feel bad for the kid who played him. Well, the man who was the child who played
Apparently
him.
he got
a lot
with
of
the law.
crap.
He got crap
after all
recently.
that.
Something with the law. Some poor guy.
Yeah, that's a damn shame. You know, it's not his fault.
Yeah. I mean, it's a child actor and all that shit.
Yeah.
But as far as
that was Lucas though. He directed him to be this little.
Well, hey, you're a kid, and your parents know
Wally
you want
and the Beeve.
You want to be in this
fucking
business.
Kid.
You're gonna want to do it. You're not gonna say no. I'm not gonna have a chance to do this. But as that movie goes, that's what I like about it. Clone Wars. I like the scene.
I like some of the designs.
I like some of the design.
That's about it.
I like Jango Fett.
It's okay.
It's okay. I like when he goes.
I would have liked to have had a different origin story for Boba Fett than being a clone of this Jango guy and all that. Yeah. However, the only good thing to come out of the prequels is the game Bounty Hunter, which you can get, I think, on the GameCube, PS2 during that era.
Right.
And I played the GameCube version because the GameCube version has superior audio quality for some reason. Some ports just for whatever reason, but it has the better sound quality.
Right.
And the story in that game is very good. There's a lot of cutscenes, and they put a lot of production value.
Oh, that's cool.
It's Christopher Lee and whatever the guy's name, Jango Fett. They're all coming in to do the voice actors.
Oh, that's
They
cool.
give new characters. It feels. Put it to you this way: that game. If you watch the cutscenes, this movie, you should look that up. Bounty Hunter. It's a good Star Wars story, and it's really well done.
Right.
That story is a better Star Wars movie than all the prequels 10 times over.
I bet. And that's what I also like about Star Wars. When new shit comes out, people want to make variations
the
of
Bando Gora is in that, which we've never heard of in any of the films. The concept of Bando Gora.
They continue on the lore of another part of the universe, which is great. And that's why I like any new Star Wars being made. But as far as the prequels, and the other scene I like about Attack of the Clones is when Obi-Wan lands on that planet, that watery planet. And
Camino was cool.
And he comes unannounced, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't expect you, Master
those
Jedi."
Whatever those creatures were that lived on Camino.
That is
very great design.
That whole
and
scene,
sound design for their voices too.
But
really good.
That whole scene where he comes down and he gets the tour is dope.
Yeah.
And then he confronts.
And then he confronts them, and they feel each other out.
And and they confront Jango Fett, and he flies off, and he
that was good. That was good. That was cool.
All that shit's dope.
Yeah.
It was really good. I was like,
this is dope. Just a couple of moments. It doesn't save the rest of the film.
Yeah.
It was
like the pod race in the first one is like totally ridiculous and boring.
But the sound design in that is
design's always going to be dope.
Yeah, but that in particular,
they're not going to fuck around with that. I was listening to the movie today with the lasers and shit, and I was like, especially when Kylo was flying his TIE fighter and it was spinning. And
yeah,
I was like,
great sound.
Yeah, they keep the sounds in. They know what to do. They're doing.
Yeah, but there's something about in the prequels, the pod race for me, the sound design, just listening to it. Like if I have it on the surround system with the subwoofer kicking and shit, I feel it. Like there's something about that. I really love the sound design in that. And in what's the one? I guess it was which movie was it where he's Obi-Wan is in the Jedi fighter that looks almost like an A-wing, and Jango Fett is in the ship, and he's throwing off those crazy sonic fucking bombs into the
I don't
into
know.
the asteroids, and it makes that
be
crazy explosion sound.
It's probably Attack of the
Love that
Clones,
sound.
because he doesn't make it out of he doesn't make it out of the third one. He doesn't make it out of the second one.
Yeah, it's when he follows him. He follows him to
the other planet.
yeah, to Count Dooku.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I really think
Christopher Lee. That's
really,
one good thing about the prequels.
Yeah.
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee's
His
cool.
performance right through was excellent.
And General Grievous is dope too.
Grievous is a good character.
Great character. Grievous is a great fucking nemesis.
Yeah.
Great character. Love him.
Grievous was good in the Clone Wars cartoon.
Yeah. And that's too. That you want it. You know what you want some. The Clone War
cartoon is awesome.
Oh my God, is it good?
That's what the prequel should have been.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was so good, man.
It should have been. That's what
the writing is so good.
It's really good.
It's really good. I remember started watching. I was like, shit, these episodes are fucking better than the Star Wars movies.
They're really good.
Yeah, you want to watch that? Buy all that. Buy the.
There's two volumes of the cartoon.
Well, there's one where
same guy who did Samurai Jack,
which is
and
dope because
Powerpuff Girls.
It's more about that's the artwork.
Dexter's Laboratory.
Right. That's dope. It's only 2 seasons, and they also made action figures for those cartoon characters too, which are hard.
I love
to find.
Samurai Jack, by the way.
Yeah, Samurai Jack's dope.
Yeah,
it's so they made a new one recently.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
Can you believe that? So, of all people, I can't believe I didn't watch that immediately.
I hope they continue it because fuck it. I mean, the guy wants to do it. Let him do it. I would be like, if I was
Samurai Jack's a really
I was
good
Cartoon
character,
Network, I'd be like,
cartoon.
dude, if you want to make a fucking Samurai Jack every 5 years, do it. Just fucking make it.
And the more surreal that show could get, like at its most surreal, is when it's at its best.
Oh, it's great. It's great. That's what I love. Cartoon Network and I love Adult Swim.
Yeah.
One of the best formation of creativity ever. That they just you want to talk about avant-garde? That's the fucking channel, man. Those guys let people do what they want, and they press.
I still watch Venture Brothers. That's my favorite.
They push
cartoon.
the envelope. That is
Venture
is our avant-garde shit right now. What those guys produce. Some
those guys are from New York here, and they're our age.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah,
that's why I like watching the show because I get all the references.
Yeah,
I was watching one where they made a reference to Bjork and the Sugar Cubes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, kids watching this, I kind of know what that is.
Yeah.
But it was perfect. Like it made the joke.
It's
perfect.
A lot of Generation Xers and a lot of baby boomers who are just hipsters. They just know. I mean, that's all. But going back, definitely buy the Clone Wars that was on Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
it's 5 seasons. They're dope. They're in Blu-ray. I think I have like
I have the first 2 DVD.
Yeah,
sets.
I gotta go and get that. They're just so goddamn expensive. They're like $40.
There were only two volumes.
Oh, the Cartoon Network one with Samurai Jack direct.
Yeah, there were 2
artist,
volumes.
Whatever his name
2
is.
volumes
I'm sorry,
of
I don't know his name.
DVDs. 2 seasons.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the 5 they made after that. It was kind of
The
like
computer animated,
computer
one.
generated.
Okay.
Yeah, those are fucking.
Those are good too, but the other one. If you're gonna watch one of them, watch the actual cartoon, the animated one, not the computer animated one.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. The storyline.
Oh, watch all of it though. It's fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, no, but the writing is great. The artwork, the CGI computer artwork doesn't take away from the story.
Both out as far as storytelling though.
Rebels is good too. Rebels is good.
Good characters.
I have to. I don't know. I just remember watching the Clone Wars are great. The Clone Wars is some great shit that came out of the prequels.
And Rebels ties in directly to Rogue One.
Yeah.
Which ties directly into.
Which I'm all glad. I don't know if
Star
I said
Wars.
this before. I'm glad all this shit is getting all nice boxed up and put away because I'm tired of this other sliver of shit they're putting in all the time. I guess we're gonna see it because we're gonna see a Ben Kenobi movie coming out.
Oh, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So
I honestly don't
because the Han Solo movie's coming out next year.
I actually don't want it.
I don't want.
I don't want a young Han Solo movie.
Well, I don't care. It's being made. I'm gonna have to. I'm just glad they took those 2 jokers off it who were fucking around with it because they were fucking around with it.
There's 3 things that I think Star Wars
and they were like, you can't fuck with our Star Wars lore, dude. I don't care if you made the Lego movie.
Yeah, I think there's 3 things that Star Wars movies
like they talk the Lego movie is like
would and should do that would be successful, and that would be to continue the stories that we're working on now.
Right, exactly. Keep the
go back to, I say it a million times, everybody who knows me knows to say this.
I say it
Go
too.
back to the Old Republic, with
And they said they're not-
Mandalorian. Go back to the Mandalorian
Not
Wars.
now. They
Go
don't
to
want to go
Revenant
that
Malak.
direction right now.
Great, but that would be great. That would be
I
a great
agree.
thing, and it would be
That-
very successful.
That shit
Even
is
people who
great.
aren't aware of that story
Oh,
would
it's great.
fall in love with it because it's so good.
Yeah. Well,
Or do something completely different, like I was saying earlier. A completely different story. We don't need stormtroopers. We don't need TIE fighters. We don't need
Yeah.
Darth Vaders. We don't need Force users.
right.
We can give us a story about. It could be a love story. It could be Harry met Sally
Yeah.
on fucking Mustafar or some fucking not Mustafar, but on some fucking remote place.
We got to have some
in
kind
the Star Wars universe,
some kind of,
with
like,
Star Wars aesthetic.
costume design though, because when you watch Empire as a kid and then you see these fucking snowtroopers and they come into the Echo base and you're like to their little rebel base when everybody's leaving except Han's still there trying to get the Falcon out, and then these snowtroopers show up and you're like, oh my god, those are stormtroopers, but they're wearing gear for the
different
cold
now.
weather. Oh my god, those are so dope. So it's hard to
We were only
away-
like what, 9 years old, so it's like
9 years
and
old.
all the only experience we had was the original Star Wars and
Right.
those stormtroopers.
But
so it's like, oh, we got this now.
Yeah,
but
to
now
see
they
this
can give us all these fucking designs.
Well, that's what I- when
doesn't
you-
have the same impact that it did.
Star Wars is great at its its design of
Oh, there have been a lot of excellent design choices.
I'm just
set,
but
costume,
that's what it's known for. 'cause
character,
you want to see
alien,
he
creature.
he would just introduce these things, very quiet like into the film, and you're like, oh shit, we didn't see that in the last one.
No.
But it follows the aesthetic of the design, so
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that's just the evolution of the other thing. Oh, that's so dope.
Well, here's one thing that
So
really
that's-
bothers me about the newer movies now, and that bothers me about movies in general now, modern movies, is that we're getting sensory overload.
Oh yeah, we've always
We're
gotten
not
that.
getting a great fucking shot that's
That's-
filmed on 35 millimeter and
That's what-
just the perfect lighting with
That's
the
all the
practical
Marvel
effects.
movies. You
We're
wanna talk
getting
about
all
overload.
this sensory overload. There's so much going on. You know what I mean? Like we're in the casino. There was a lot of cool shit in that fucking casino.
Yeah, yeah.
In this new movie.
Yeah.
But there was so much other shit
Yeah.
that it made me not appreciate it because it was like it was too much.
Yeah.
There was just too much going on.
Yeah.
Once in a while, fine, you can have a scene that's just packed with stuff, but I can't have everything packed. That's why I love the throne room scenes. Everything comes down to this. Everything just stops. There's so much tension in the air, and it's so sparse and clean, and
Well,
the
that was
lighting and color scheme.
Well, that was a scene that was being
was
built
done
up. That's
so
why.
well. But every scene they filmed in that room, that's felt. You know what I mean? It was like, like the
Yeah.
things I'm looking at made like just everything was placed just right. The lighting was just
Yeah, well,
perfect.
they're not going to fuck around with that. And that's why you also want to see Star Wars, because you want to see costume design,
Right.
sound design.
But do I need to see 800,000
set
laser
design.
blasts and 48,000 ships? Well,
Well,
it feels like a fucking
yeah,
Avengers
but you want to
movie.
feel like when the pilots are like, there's too many of them, and
Yeah.
they fucking die, because that's what it is, because you're like...
But do we need that in every scene of the movie?
No, we
other than
but-
than on
But the thing about Star Wars now is that now with the technology better, we want to see these dog fights. We didn't see
Yeah.
enough of them. And now with the kids playing Battlefront, it's like, oh my God. Battlefront is like, oh my God, this should be in the movie. There's so much cool shit in Battlefront that you're like, wow, this should be a movie, or this should have been in a movie, and this is fucking great.
I don't know how much you follow because I know you don't do the game stuff, but EA's in a bunch of trouble with that Battlefront and a lot of stuff. There's like lawsuits, and the game's only been out a couple of weeks. It's already $30.
I'm sure it is. No,
but and it's beautiful looking. But
they're kind of...
I haven't bought it.
I hear... The one thing I hate, but what I hear
I'll play it, but
about all the gamers is, which I think is a shitty thing, is you have to pay a certain amount of price to introduce these characters. Like to get Darth Vader, it has to be a certain amount of money, and I think that's fucked up. I think if you put a product out, just put it out.
Once upon a time, you would buy a game cartridge, you would stick it in your Nintendo, and that was the game.
That's what I mean. I mean, don't add on these other things to make more money, because if you make a good product anyway, these kids are going to buy it the next following
I'm
years
not against download content, but certain types of download content. Like you buy, for example, the game Skyrim came out in 2011.
Right.
Several months later, they came out with this expansion, which was like a whole other fucking map and a million other quests and a whole other storyline.
Right.
It was almost like another game.
Right.
So it was like, you know what I mean? For $20, you were getting like a $40 value on a game that cost you $60.
Right.
That I'm still playing today.
Right.
Like, the game came out in 2011. I'm still playing it today. I play Skyrim all the time. Love that game.
Right.
It's the best $60 I ever spent in my life. Well, I spent $60 several times over because I have every version.
How much was the expansion part? How much was that?
Well, there's different ones.
Right.
You know? So, you know, one of
No,
them,
but you're saying it cost $20,
$15, one
and
was
then,
$20.
Well,
So another one I think was like $30.
What were you going with that? I was trying to figure out your train of thought on that.
Well, that's download content. The game came out, and now here's some other stuff that you could pay for and download,
which is good or bad.
Add to your game. Now, there's things that are on the game, that are in the game, that are on the disc, but they're behind a paywall. That I'm against.
A paywall.
Yeah. So in other words, you can't have it until you pay for it.
That's what I mean.
You know.
That's what I think. I think that's
in
fucked
some
up.
types of games it works, in other types of games it doesn't. Some types of free to play.
If anything,
models,
I think they'd have some kind of like puzzle in the game that if you finish, you will unlock this character.
Well, there are a few games, Battlefront, for example, where if you play the game for, I don't know, I haven't played it, but if you play the game for roughly, it'll take you about 30 hours of gameplay to earn enough credits to unlock Luke Skywalker.
That's
for
cool.
example.
Do that, but don't have these
but you can do that.
Yeah, don't have these kids pay more money. I think that's fucked up.
But you can also have games like like Dead or Alive, where it's like, okay, I have the game, I paid for the game. It's not necessary to buy anything else, but for $1.99, I could buy whole new outfits. A set of outfits for one of my characters.
Okay.
And little stuff like that. Like Little Big Planet, they give you like all these packs where you get all these extra stickers and
okay. I don't mind. I don't mind if you want to buy.
You don't need it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's fine. It's cosmetic stuff.
I just think it's fucked up for people to like, oh, I got to fork over to get this guy. It's like, I already paid $100 for your fucking. Well, what do new games go for?
One
when
of
they
the
first
things,
come out?
they're $60. But
okay.
One of the problems that the biggest problem they're complaining about with this is that you can get what's called loot boxes, where you pay X amount of dollars to get these loot boxes, and they kind of come up and people are comparing it to slot machines.
Right.
Where you don't know what you're going to get. You pay the money, you could get something you already had.
Right.
Or whatever.
That's kind of fucked up too. I want to know
what
what
they're comparing it to gambling, and they're saying that it's kids are taking mommy and daddy's credit card and blowing $10,000 on these things.
So many greedy motherfuckers out
there. And some people say, well, it serves them right, or blah, 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 blah. But you know what? It just seems like a sleazy thing to do.
Yeah, that's the only thing I have.
Yeah.
And that's what I heard about.
If I'm a publisher and a developer wanted to implement this in the game, like it's gonna make me money, but it just doesn't feel right. Maybe that's why I'm not a big businessman, and vice versa. If I'm a developer and a publisher says, "I need you to develop this, because I need this in our business model for the game," it's like I wouldn't want to be the developer that had to do that. Just didn't feel right. I want to make games. I want to tell stories. I want to stimulate people. I want to give people a piece of escapism.
I'm an artist. I'm not a businessman. This
right.
Is what, I'm a writer.
Same thing with why I'm cynical about movies these days, because there's so few people that auteur their work. You have, movies are built by these fucking committees now. Yeah. And too many cooks spoil the broth.
Yeah. That's why you have to watch a lot of independent shit.
It's not art.
And that's why you got to support independent filmmaking.
That's why I say less, especially with these movies, these more, listen, it's another big blockbuster, I get it, but, Star Wars is not the Avengers. Star Wars is something that's kind of held sacred by most people on the planet. Doesn't matter what country you're from. Doesn't matter what language you speak. Star Wars is special
universal
to a lot of people. This is like
universal.
Right,
it's intergalactic.
We don't need these formulas that are being used in these modern films to throw in there. And a lot of people say, "Oh, but that was so cool. Did you see that fight when Anakin and Obi-Wan and the little robots were all over the place, and he poked them in the eyes, and burgers, and the kitchen sink is flowing.
I love that.
It's just, we don't
I
need
love
the
that.
sensory overload.
I love more of that, please. I love that. He poked him in the eye.
We don't need it. We don't need it.
We don't need. No, I hear you what you're saying.
You know.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There's a big space battle. Okay. Give me a big space battle, but it just feels like a fucking an avalanche. It doesn't. It doesn't feel like a roller coaster. It feels like an avalanche.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. But to go back, to the trilogy, to the prequels.
Oh, I thought we were going back to Last Jedi.
No, we will. I just really think that Revenge of the Sith is a good movie for that shitty, early trilogy. But I think the story is good and it's worth it. It's just that I'm done knowing all about Anakin and young. I'm done with that. I want the new shit, and that's why I'm glad Rian Johnson. I don't know. He's commanding now what the arc will look like for the next trilogy. So,
I have less faith in Johnson now, and I had a lot.
Yeah.
I was expecting.
Yeah. So that's what I'm worried now.
I'm starting to have a
But
little less faith.
I
I'll
like
give him
the
another chance. One more. He gets one more chance.
Gets
from
one
me
more chance
to get it right.
I like the idea that they're going in the future still, because I want to see new shit.
Yeah, I just want him to learn from his directorial choices.
Oh,
he
believe me,
made
dude. I follow him on
in this and take that to the next one.
I follow him on Instagram. So
is Kushner still alive?
No, he died a couple years ago.
Is there anyone? An understudy.
Yeah, he was great. But no, Johnson will get a lot of feedback. He's because people DM him
I always
all
say
the
his
time,
name
and
wrong.
he's probably
The guy
he
who gave
probably
us-
reads so much shit that people DM him, and he doesn't write back. Of course,
The guy who gave us Arrival in Blade Runner. I always pronounce his name wrong.
the French Canadian director.
Can you pronounce his name properly?
I forget too.
I don't want to embarrass myself.
I don't care. Say it.
I don't. Whatever. That director. DV. I'm gonna call him DV.
I'm sorry. I should look it up.
Yeah.
His great movie, Arrival. It came out earlier this year.
I think Blade Runner was even better than Arrival.
No, Arrival's much better than Blade Runner.
Okay.
2049.
The story of Arrival and like the freshness of the concept is better.
Yes.
But the film, as far as a visual experience,
It's not
and a
bad.
piece of art.
No, it's cool, dude.
I really like Blade Runner a lot.
Yeah,
I love
Blade
those
Runner.
color palettes in the world.
I didn't like the story of Blade Runner, to go off from Last Jedi. I'm gonna buy the Blu-ray when it comes out in January soon. And I'll watch it.
I think you're gonna like it more the more
I'll
you
watch it again, because I'm gonna really want to analyze it and really analyze the scenes.
Hey, you know what
be a
movie I
big
like
nerd
the more I
and do it.
watch it?
Which one?
Alien Covenant.
Oh, jeez.
Talk about Ridley Scott.
You want to talk about phoned it in? You want to talk about a movie that was
What's
phoned in? That was totally phoned in. Hello? Yeah, I don't give a shit. Get this fucking
Carrie
project.
Fisher and
Get
Harris,
this fucking project green-lighted now, or your ass is gone from Hollywood.
I think Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, and Mark Hamill in these two new Star Wars movies did not phone it in.
No.
Blade Runner,
No way.
Harrison Ford did not phone in. His performance
No.
was great in that.
No.
Crystal Skull, I think he phoned it in.
He phoned it in that.
A couple other movies.
There's
he
some
phoned
cool
in a little
scenes in that movie, though.
bit. You always know when he's not interested.
I liked the scene where he wakes up and he's on that fucking he's on the base. He's on that plot of land that they're gonna do an atomic bomb experiment. I think that's a badass scene, and he goes into the ice box to protect him. Because
God!
I love that.
Oh my God! That's like one thing that everyone complains about.
Oh, I thought it was dope.
Everyone complains about.
I love
that,
it.
dude.
Love it, because
that's one of the things that everyone goes to.
It's just it was just cool to see it, because it's like, oh, it's classic Indiana Jones, because he does shit like that. You know what? Like
The Indiana Jones movies.
I mean, come on.
They go off
how
that
about the
cliff
second
that's like a mile. That waterfall that's like a mile high after they jumped out of a plane.
plane?
in a
Yeah, I was just
fucking-
about to say that. No, they
in
have
the raft.
They have an
in the
inflatable raft.
And they
that they're coming
survive
off-
that.
Yeah, they're coming off fucking mountainsides.
Yeah.
Yeah, and nobody gets thrown out of the raft or
Nope.
loses, or the raft rips or anything. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
or
all-
it doesn't matter. As soon as they hit the ground, they're splat. They're done.
Yeah, it's all
It's
horse
just
shit.
a red stain on this piece of fucking rubber floating down the mountain.
Exactly, but that's what I liked about Crystal Skull. That
Yeah.
and I liked the idea it was aliens. I thought it was cool.
Nah.
I just thought it was phoned in.
We differ there.
Yeah, no,
The alien thing was.
it was rushed too. I didn't mind the Soviet stuff. It was kind of cool, but he had to make a
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Hey, Shy.
Hey, I'm an actor. You better fucking take me serious,
Shy.
man, or I'll get headbutt you.
Shy, dude, Shy.
Shy, dude.
Yo,
Dude,
Shy.
dude,
Shy.
shy. Oh,
Dude,
shy.
LaBeouf. Yo, LaBeouf.
I can't think of LaBeouf right
Dude,
now.
if you were in the new Star Wars movie, what character would you have auditioned for?
I'd be called the LaBeouf.
You'd be from
I would. I'm Shia LaBeouf. I demand that you use my
You make a
name
creature
as a
called the
character.
Boof.
They call me LaBeouf.
The LaBeouf.
You meet him in the cantina. Meet LaBeouf. He's one of those scoundrel card playing, evading those Imperial slugs.
LaBeouf,
type guy.
what's your favorite film of all time?
LaBeouf. Oh man, I don't know. I have to think of that one.
You can't get into LaBeouf mode today.
No,
huh?
I can't even.
Last few times I called you LaBeouf, you had some good answers.
I have to
I
go
couldn't
back
get
and
you
listen to it.
LaBeouf mode.
I can't think of his the way he talks right now. LaBeouf's. Yeah, thank God he's not in a Star Wars movie. What do you think about Laura Dern in this?
I think that her character could have had more impact, but I didn't think she was bad.
Yeah.
I blame
think
it
it
on
could
the
have been anybody. It
directing
could have been
and
anybody in
the
that
edit
role.
of the film.
I think it could have been anybody in that role. Could have been a non-actress we don't know about.
Yeah, but here's the thing: she's a good actress, and she could have had more of an impact.
She's probably
She's
just-
more than good enough for a Star Wars film, that's for sure.
Yeah. I didn't. I just didn't.
She's
think
worthy of whatever role, but I think she could have had more impact. There could have been a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm not saying dedicate more screen time to her, just the execution of how that
Yeah.
her character was involved. But the jump to light speed through Snoke's ship.
Yeah.
That was a nice piece of visual pleasantry there. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
everything
yeah,
went
yeah, yeah.
quiet.
Yeah.
You just saw the.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fat.
Almost like.
That was a fat.
It was almost
scene.
like photograph.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
Very cool.
Yeah, that
Made
was a
you
nice.
feel like it was this instantaneous, and we just like see this little stop in time.
Right.
The damage that she did.
Yeah. No, all the hyperspace stuff was great too.
Yeah.
When
Hyperspace is always cool. It's always been cool.
Yeah, it's always
ever
been
since
cool.
the first movie in 1977.
Yeah.
Hyperspace has been cool.
No, it's cool when the Falcon stops and it lets off Rey and then it continues.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool.
They're like, how are they tracking us through hyperspace? That was cool because it's like it's never been done before.
They
I thought that-
tried to explain it a little bit and
Right.
explain how they could stop it, but I guess
Yeah.
it wasn't really that necessary. But the geek in me that likes to listen to the gobbledygook science terms thrown around in Star Wars and Star Trek and all that stuff.
Love it.
It make it believable to me.
Well, that's what I mean. That's,
The warp
you have
core
to,
has
you have
been
to write hard. You have to think of harder things.
The
to write
warp
about.
core on the Enterprise has fucking gone through so many fucking critical
mass.
Yeah, and they've had a million different ways to explain it away, and they're all believable.
Yeah.
Just make it believable. That's all.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all I need.
Well, that's what science fiction's all about.
Yeah, it has to make sense in that world. Doesn't have to make sense in real life.
You just need to ground it to us a little bit so
Right.
we don't question it. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
I can see why we have anti-gravity space stations now.
Force Awakens. They're
I mean,
having
a
trouble
gravity
with the
station
ship.
instead of
The
anti-gravity.
thing is, whatever.
Right.
They don't have, the droid isn't fixing it. She fixes it. She comes out. She pulls out this piece of metal with a bunch of wires on it. Who knows? It was probably the inside of a fucking Walkman. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Right.
I bypassed the compressor, and it felt like, yeah, okay, bypass the compressor. Great, it makes sense. Now
Right.
you're moving.
Right. No. That was
that stuff.
There's a lot of dope stuff.
It just has to feel.
Yeah,
just make it make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I give it I'm glad I was glad to see finally Luke, and I wish they would have kept.
Yeah,
this
Mark Hamill was fantastic.
You know, we waited so long. I mean, he should have had some kind of more of a more scenes in Force Awakens. They could have developed him a little bit earlier, but I
would have even liked more of him in this, but that's because he's great. It's Luke Skywalker. It's Star Wars. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But his performance was really good in this.
Yeah.
That's what saves this movie for me.
Yeah.
This movie is saved for me mostly by everything that happens in the throne room and Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So I think they should have just worked harder on...
And Rose, the character Rose.
Yeah.
I liked this character. I like her. In real life, I have a respect for this character. I like her a lot.
I think they should have just worked more with the old characters and threw them in more and let them have another run at this. And then you could, and as you do it, you bring up these Rey and Kylo Ren. You bring up these other characters, but emphasize more on the old characters a little bit more. So get them out of the way and move it up. That's all.
Yeah, they're doing that. They're just doing it in a faster...
Yeah.
They're just giving it to it faster than you would like.
Well, it sucks because, you know, you didn't see Han and Luke reunion. I mean, that's a fuck up right there. That's a fuck up. They
Luke even had to ask in this film, what happened to Han? Where's Han?
Yeah. He asked. I know.
He didn't know.
Yeah, he didn't know because he cut himself out of the world.
Leia knew.
Leia knew. Yeah, of course she knew. I mean, she was obvious. She felt it. But they didn't have that reunion, and that was a big fuck up.
Here's the thing. Luke didn't know because even Rey said it. He's cutting himself off from the Force. He was, you know what I mean? Like, he was cutting himself off from the Force.
I'm just saying in general, when they wrote this storyline.
He wasn't using it.
The storyline, they should have had Luke and Han have a reunion. Fucking dumbasses. You could have killed Han off in this one. He would have been the martyr or whatever. He would have tried to go and confront his kid again, and he ends up getting killed. And that would have been great. You've done that. And then Luke is involved, swashbuckling and blah, blah, blah. And then he's set up for the third one where either he lives and he becomes a hermit afterwards, or he ends up dying and sacrificed.
Yeah, all that could have worked.
It could have worked. I'm just saying it sucks for us because we never saw, hey, Hano, buddy, you read me? When they're running around on Tauntauns and Hoth. Because they did that. Through all the other trilogies, they were hanging out doing fucking adventures together, and then they would separate and go on their own. And they never did this, and that's why I'm pissed at Abrams for that. And you know, Abrams, the more he was the guy behind it, and I just don't understand why they didn't leave it in, or at least have a scene where Luke and Han meet briefly, and then they move on, and then you could kill Han in The Force Awakens. That's the only thing I have. It's like you fucked up, reunited these guys. And Leia is the only one that has met Luke and Han. Yeah. And that's it.
It's funny how everyone will have a view of what changes they would make. Like, I know the things that I would change.
I don't think that's a big deal. Everybody was waiting for them to have a little reunion where they hi-fi each other.
But now that we have what we have, now we could talk predictions for the next film. Where do you think this is all going?
I have no idea.
What do you think? Idea. What do you think happens with Rey and Kylo's story arc?
I don't know.
Does he redeem himself in this trilogy?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you end. I don't know how you end.
Or does he die without redeeming himself? Or does he do the classic sacrifice and redeem himself with the sacrifice?
I have no idea how this is going to go.
Does he redeem himself and move on? Him and Rey start making Jedi babies. Like, what happens?
Honest, I don't know.
How does the Resistance gain more steam now that it doesn't have investors?
Well, what do you do? What do you start off?
They don't have any of that. All that money and all that ships and all that personnel and everything. It's gone. Now it's gotta be raised. It's starting from literally a few people underground with nothing. You know, that have to inspire a new rebellion.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does it take place immediately after? Are we going to see this?
I don't know, man.
5, 10,
I have no idea.
30, 40 years down the line.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be that.
Because the First Order now is going to take over the galaxy, and it's going to be even worse than the Empire. Because you're going to have Kylo and Hux in charge. It's not the Empire. It's not the Emperor and Vader. Which, it's almost like...
Well, that's what I mean.
It's almost like saying we have... Reagan, Bush type. Now we have Trump. It's like,
well, what's
you had Emperor, you had the Emperor,
right.
and you had Vader. You know what I'm saying? At least the Emperor was always thought he was 100 steps ahead of everything. Was calculated. They're just I don't know. It's gonna be haphazard. Oh, there we go. Microphones are falling down.
Microphones are falling. Testing.
Let me see if you're okay.
Check the limits. Check the limits. How are we doing?
No, we never lost you. You're good.
We're good. We got to get a better mic stand for this one. Next purchase. But
What a chase.
I don't know how the storyline's going to go. I don't know what I'm looking forward to. Right? What are we looking for? What Ray's? What's Ray's final question
if we're
of
talking
her life?
about just our
Yeah, I know, but it's a
core
good question.
cast of good guy characters now.
All the old trilogy characters are gone.
Well, we've learned over these two movies what the new characters are kind of capable of and who they are. Poe's our leader. Okay,
I don't know.
They pretty much just,
Well, Ray is a leader too. She's gonna.
Yeah,
be
but
like,
Poe learned a couple lessons in this about leadership in this film.
Well, yeah.
So
he'll probably be.
This film literally by the end of this movie is literally passing the torch completely.
Oh yeah.
To these characters.
Oh, of
now.
course, he's going to be head of the revolution.
So Poe's our leader.
I mean, and
Finn's our hero.
Yeah, but what do you care about these characters now? You see, that's what I'm trying to get. What
I do care about these. I care about Finn. I care about Rose. I like Poe. He's got conviction and he's principled.
The only person I care about is what I find intriguing is Rey and Kylo, and that's it. I don't hate.
Well, of course, we got to know what happens with them. They're the Force end of what's happening in these films. So.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I want to know what the end game is. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know what the story is going to be like.
Balance, I think, is the end game. It's been the end game since the introduction of the storyline, which is now unfortunately canon in the prequels, which is balance.
Balance.
And this movie even pretty much just spit it in our face. Which with Luke and Rey, it's balance. So it's not good or bad. There is balance.
Yeah, I don't know what to look for.
That's the ultimate goal of the Force is balance. They thought Vader was going to be the one, or Anakin. Vader was the one to bring balance. Then it was Luke. It's Rey. I mean, this is something that could go on forever, or there's always going to be Force-sensitive people that could feel the environment around them. But, I don't want to delve too far into it, I like the Force just being something like, in the real world is just focusing. Focusing yourself and being able to accomplish things. What do they say? The man in a rush never sees the edge of the cliff until it's too late.
Right.
So like I like that kind of aspect of the Force. All this magic. I mean, it's cool. I liked when Kylo fucking stopped the fucking blaster bolt in the first movie in midair and just held it there for like 10 minutes while they had a conversation, then let it go. Shit like that's kind of cool.
They're just gonna have to introduce new kind of storyline with new characters for the third one.
Yeah, but with the prequels,
we'll
making
set it
them
up
be
for
able
the
to
new
fucking
three ones.
The Force powers in prequels were ridiculous.
The what?
The Force powers in the prequels were a little over the top. They're all of a sudden they can run at light speed now, or they could jump fucking 100 feet. Like, Are they going to have elevated abilities? Yeah, because they're trained, and of course. But I like the Force when it's more.
Subtle.
Yeah, the more subtle, the better. The more mysterious, the more subtle. The more ambiguous, the better. You know, midi-chlorians almost ruined it.
What?
The concept of midi-chlorians almost ruined it.
Oh, it's the Immaculate Conception. It's ridiculous. It's kind of like a cop-out.
Yeah, but, you know, overall, the more I think about it, I think the more I watch it, the more I'm going to like it. But here's the thing, like, good movies are great the first time you watch them. You know?
I haven't been to a movie in a while since, like I said, I'm excited about. But
yeah, Empire Strikes Back was great the first
you were
time
9
I
years
ever
old, though.
watched it. But you know what? I think as a film, like, you know, now being older and knowing what to appreciate in films and what makes a good film, you could watch that and
right
and still try to put your biases and nostalgia aside and say it's objectively a good film. It's a beautiful film. It's a very artistic film. It's paced wonderfully. You know, it flows great. It looks great. It's a great film.
Right.
You know, Phantom Menace does not pass any of those tests. There's certain things you can or you know, certain measuring sticks you can use to measure, you know, the worthiness of a film. You know, that's why I like you know, a lot of the films that we talk about all the time and like.
Yeah, I'll be happy to see a new Star Wars movie in the next 2-3 years. I just don't have no idea how they're gonna go. So.
Well, they've been making them every 2 years. Back in the day, they were every 3 years. Now they're making them
I
every
have no
2
idea
years.
how the storyline's gonna go, and I'll just let them figure
That's
it out.
their business model now is pump them out in 2 years. I think if they added another year, maybe these films might. If we had another year in between, you know what I'm saying? Like if this took 3 years to make instead of 2.
Well, they're working on
A lot of the problems that I have might not exist. Maybe it does take more time.
They're working on an Obi-Wan movie,
Which I'm not asking for. I'm not expecting it to be good.
There's
If
talk
it
of
is great, fine.
They're thinking about doing it.
I want every movie to come out to be fantastic. It would be great.
Thinking about doing
Everything I watch is going to entertain me on
a bounty
so many
hunter movie.
levels. It'd be great, but that's not the reality.
They want to see a bounty hunter movie over a Boba Fett story.
The actually, yeah, that's the thing. Like, oh, you mean a different bounty hunter or a movie about just a bunch of bounty hunters?
About the bounty hunters.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what the bounty hunter thing. There's a little bit of that. There's
The video game.
yeah. There's a lot of, you know what I'm saying.
Lore.
The bounty is out there, and of course, in the end, it's Jango Fett that you know completes the task, and the prize. One of the prizes is that he's asked to become their new model for their clones, for the clone army.
Ah, cool.
That's how that happens.
You see, that's cool.
And it's the background of his character, and we get to know more about Jango and his origins and the things that motivate him and the characters that surround him. You know, it makes him a character that you empathize with a bit. You know, when you understand where he comes from. He's not a bad guy. So much.
That's why I was saying earlier.
That's so much. That's
why-
so much a bad guy.
That's why I was saying earlier that
Boba Fett winds up being a worse person than his dad.
oh yeah,
Not to say that believe me, he's morally ambiguous.
more ruthless.
Yeah, but you know, Boba Fett is
Well,
definitely.
seeing your dad get murdered and getting his head chopped off
Yeah. It's
kind of make
tough.
it be hard on you at a young age.
Yeah, well, you could become Boba Fett or you could become Batman, you know? He became Boba Fett.
True, good point. No, but that's what I like about Star Wars is you have what I was saying earlier is you have these offshoots of story arcs and character development, and it's dope. So
It's Star Wars. It's what we, you know.
yeah,
Fuck,
it's just
man.
expanding the universe and the lore, which I'm all down for. So
Yeah.
I have no idea what the predictions will be. I'll be psyched for it. they're gonna have to make a dope ass trailer this time for me to
There's
go.
gonna
Wow,
be,
this looks good.
They're gonna make a Christmas Porg and Ewok special.
Hey, they didn't bother me. I love the little guys.
Porgs were all right. They didn't bug me.
Yeah, it didn't bug me at all.
Yeah.
People were talking like, it's.
I was nervous. I thought they were going to be like a part of it. I thought, I was nervous.
Yeah,
Like,
as
what
we're
the fuck
older,
are
we
these
look at
things
the
gonna
Ewoks
be?
as corny, but when
Yeah.
we were kids, we accepted it. So we didn't. We're like, I remember some people like, yeah, what's with those teddy bears, man?
Yeah, you know what? If you read the book or the screenplay, like not the screenplay, but the book, the story, Ewoks are kind of badass.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when they're executed on screen, they look like fucking teddy bears.
Yeah, no,
But that's the thing though, because
they're supposed to be like more aggressive too, right? They're kind of like fierce.
they're much more fierce.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fight like a tribe of warriors that knows
exactly.
the land that they're fighting on.
Exactly.
And they make use of that, which
Yeah.
they kind of do with the traps and all that stuff. But
they're more of a.
but
an
also,
aggressive.
it's Star Wars. Star Wars is classically black and white. The good guys can't look like bad guys. They can't look like fierce, savage, crazy, wild creatures. If you had these things that came out looking like fucking, prehistoric boars with like 6-foot tusks or something, you know what I mean? It'd be hard to identify them as one of the good guys.
Right.
Yeah, that's just classic Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now I think these days you can get away with more of that kind of, judge me by my appearance kind of thing.
Right. I don't know where the direction of the movies are gonna go. I'll just be up for anything new.
Yeah. My prediction is that the torch is now completely passed on to the new characters.
Yeah.
And that doesn't bother me.
I just think
I was expecting it to happen, but I wasn't
coulda just
expecting it to
spread 'em
happen
out a
until
little
the
bit
end
more.
of the trilogy.
Yeah, they could have spread them out more. There's no way, like I said, there's no need to kill
It's
Han.
okay the way they did it. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm okay with it too. I don't give a
okay.
shit. I'm just because now everybody got their Skywalker fill, and then they're done. That's it. But I think he'll come back as the Force Ghost.
Could.
That would be cool.
That's a possibility.
If you brought Yoda back, you definitely got to bring fucking. You got to bring fucking.
Maybe that's how he imparts more wisdom to her.
Yeah.
Because she still needs guidance.
Yeah. So.
Even though she's learned some lessons in this.
I liked, I liked how she was becoming training and stuff. I liked all that on the island. Took out the lightsaber and stuff. I thought that was all badass. Started to learn, and I really dug that whole scene. I wanted to love this movie. I really did. I wanted to come out going, oh. Man, that was so much better than The Force Awakens. But now I'm just like,
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting to walk out saying this was an 8.5. That was my prediction.
I had a friend of mine gave it a 9. I was like, holy shit, a 9?
Hey.
Wow.
Eye of the beholder, I suppose.
I was like, a 9?
But you know what? Different
Oh
people.
my God, it must be good. And he's a big Star Wars fan too.
Yeah, but different audiences, different people. People look for
Yeah.
different things in films.
I just 9. I was like, a 9? No way.
Some people don't care about the pacing of a film so much, as long as like by the end of the movie they got a story they enjoyed or a few things that they'll walk out remembering. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like somebody goes to a quote unquote psychic and
Right.
they throw 100 different predictions at them.
Right.
And they only got 3 of them right. They they walk out saying, I can't believe they got these 3 things about me, but they forgot about the 97 other things they got wrong.
Right.
Most people that go into a movie, by the end of the movie, they're not thinking about any, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't
Majority of
bother
it. Yeah,
them,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's certain things in films that that we're gonna watch. It's be like, oh, like that just felt. Yeah, that doesn't tie in here. Like, this scene should have been earlier in the film, or a little. They don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, this wasn't needed. We already heard this. You know what I mean? Like, use this time to develop another character. Or
I love all the Luke final scene, and then you find out he's projecting himself from another planet.
Yeah, that just shows you how fucking badass he is. You want to talk about the strongest Jedi ever? It's definitely Luke.
Now, because of that, he dies.
It could be Rey could surpass him.
Right.
And
But-
there could be other
But
Force
that's
users.
the reason why he dies.
And in the
because-
millennia afterwards, in the Star Wars universe, there might be, there's
He-
bound to be someone even more powerful.
he used
but
up
in the
all his-
Star Wars we have up to date, there's no one that's ever been that powerful.
Yeah, I'm saying though the energy he conjured up to do that's probably what killed him, right?
Yeah, it was his last. It was his last.
Right. He
Yeah.
gave all his energy, his life force.
He gave everything for that.
Yeah, and
He became he did it, and that was the thing. She said it wasn't pain or fear; it was peace.
yeah,
So if he literally became at peace, he became one with the Force.
right.
So now he's literally one with the Force. So if there's a candidate for a Force ghost,
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I think he'll come back as a
Right
Force
there.
ghost, which is kind of cool.
they might not do it, but
Yeah.
he could.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I want to see him now as
the
a Force
possibility is always there, and we know this.
But I thought that
Whether
was
they
a great.
use it or not is another story.
I thought that was a great because you see, I'm thinking he came back, but what was kind of weird though is that when he came back, he had the short haircut, and then his beard color was like of a young guy, and then I was thinking,
Maybe he's presenting himself as a little more virile and
right, and then
clean
and I didn't know that.
ready to
And then I-
fight.
and then
that
I realized,
black outfit was badass.
yeah, and then I
The black outfit was badass.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the cape he had was really cool.
yeah, it was all awesome.
That
And then-
kind of uneven on an angle kind of cape.
Yeah,
I like
and-
that a lot.
And then you realize he's not even there, and he's still on the planet, but he projected himself, and I was like, that's fucking dope. I was an awesome fucking twist that you saw. I was clapping and shit. I was like, that was fucking awesome.
yeah, that
Like-
was pretty badass.
I was like, I was not even expecting that. So it's just sad, and I didn't feel as bad that him, because I thought he was like recovering, and then you see him, he disappears, and you're like, oh, he's dead. I was like,
I
oh,
like
shit.
that they didn't fall on the formula of a Death Star or a Star Killer base.
Yeah. No,
we
of
didn't
course.
have that. That was good.
No, but that's also part of Star Wars too. Is that
Yeah. We've had it 3 times though.
Yeah, well, people
We
are
have
trying
2
to
Death
build,
Stars and a Star Killer base.
but they're building technology to blow up shit
Yeah.
that they don't need the Force for. That's
Yeah.
the whole point. So,
One of the things I really liked is when Benicio del Toro goes into the computer and says, "Oh, let's see who owned this ship. Oh, this was a war profiteer. He was selling weapons to the bad guys.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other guys too.
Yeah, the other
And he
guys
was just
too.
like, live free because it's all the same
Yeah,
shit.
it's all the same shit. No, it was great.
And
No.
that made it that pulled it into
Yeah.
my world.
Right.
It pulled it into this world. You
Yeah, it
know,
was a
it was like,
statement. Yeah,
that's
There's no good guys.
that's what
and
it
bad
is,
guys.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
There's
all
people who are
isn't-
not. There's people who
We
don't.
could
give
have
a
all the fucking principles and
Yeah,
all
there's
the, all
gonna
the
people who
will
don't
to
give a
fight.
shit. Yeah, don't give a shit about your cause. Exactly.
It's it all
They're
boils
gonna make
down
money
to
off your cause.
who's
and live a
moving
better
and
life
shaking
than
the
you.
universe.
And be less stressed out.
The
Yeah, I
war
know. It was-
profiteers.
yeah. No, it was great.
The war is going to keep going on
There-
because people are going to keep profiting off of it.
That's why I don't give it more. I still give a Force Awakens an 8 because it's still. I gotta watch it again, but I gave it an 8 initially, and I still believe in that number. But this one's a
I think I
7.5.
said between a 7 and a 7.5 for Force Awakens. I think that was my score.
No, you said 7.5.
7.5, yeah.
You said 7.5 off the bat.
Yeah. I watched it again last night, and I'm my new score, I guess, leans closer to 7 than 7.5, but 7.5.
Oh, it
That's
goes,
fine.
It goes
you can
down
quote
a
me
half.
at either. You could quote me at either.
It
I
goes
don't
down
care.
a half.
You can
Okay.
quote me at either. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Wow. If you give it a 7 or 7.5, and then
There are moments where I'm thinking about this movie that we just watched today where I
And you
want to
give it
say
a
it's
6.
a fucking 3. But then there are moments where I'm like, shit, that was a fucking 10 right there.
that was off the charts.
Yeah, so, to average it out, I can't average it to a 5 because I don't think it's a 5.
No.
I think
You think it's a 6?
there's enough minute changes to bring it into the 7s and the 8s, but there's too many other problems that keep it from, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's hard. It's really hard to describe unless you see it.
Yeah.
Because there were moments that were, even though there were cool shit going on, it was like,
Yeah.
this is how they're telling the story here.
That's
what
what I
and I
mean.
can understand. Okay, fine. He's taking some chances. making a slightly different movie, but that's fine. And I like some of the storytelling, and I like that it was a different kind of Star Wars movie in a lot of different respects. Those aren't the problems that I have.
Right.
It's the edit, it's the pace.
Yeah.
And some of the CGI and sensory overload. I don't need that in a Star Wars film. You know, you can give it to me in moments. I just don't need to have so much of an abundance of it. It's just an avalanche of
That's why I thought it was
fucking
weird.
CGI.
They come off.
Anyone can fucking do that now, you know?
Majority of the movie is them evading the new
practical
water.
effects, set design, lighting.
Yeah.
You know, that's what makes a memorable film, a memorable scene. You know, did you see American Hustle?
Yes.
The scene with Robert De Niro, where they have that camera angle, that wide camera angle going into that room. It's really not focused on much, but you have the crowd of people there, and the undercover guy. They have him in there, and he starts speaking to him in his language, and it just has that moment of fucking tension.
Right.
Like, that's memorable. That scene, like, I don't care if you could hate that movie. That scene is fucking timeless.
Yeah.
And all it was is, some bare bulb lighting and it's just the right camera angle,
that's a
the right timing and tension.
Different kind of writer, different kind of director.
You know,
different
you don't need to have all this fucking CGI shit to make a good scene.
Oh no, of course. But that's
and when you have actors of this caliber, when you were asking me about Laura Dern and all that, these people are capable of giving you great performances. Use it.
Yeah.
Use it. Benicio del Toro gave a good performance, but you didn't give us the payoff.
Yeah. You
didn't give us the payoff to make us like that character in the end. We need him.
Right.
The Resistance needs him. They had they really dropped the ball with that.
Yeah.
That kind of angers me a little that they dropped the ball with not paying that off.
Yeah. Yeah,
they better bring him back, and he better redeem himself with them, because they need that character.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I didn't find him that intriguing. He's kind of an aloof kind of character. I don't know.
But that's what I like. It's an anti-hero. We need somebody.
I don't care.
Everyone can't just be, all fucking good
fine.
guys and doing things for the right reasons. We need to have a few people that do things.
I'm fine with
for
anti-heroes.
Selfish purposes too.
I didn't find his character that endearing. That's all. It's all right. He was there. I mean,
no, he would have been endearing if they did like I said, and they fucking he was selling them out, but he was fucking too smart for them. He's 2 steps ahead. He's like, I'm selling them out, blah, 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 blah. But he's got something up his sleeve. He's not leaving them behind. You know what I mean? Like, he's got some kind of trick where he's helping them out. And the thing like he did earlier, where he picks them up on the casino fucking planet,
right?
With BB-8. Right. They steal the ship, and you know what I'm saying. It winds up helping them out.
And I don't even think Finn's character arc this time was that good either. He's a lot better in The Force Awakens. He's more intriguing and about who he is and where he's coming from, and he had such good scenes in The Force Awakens. He's funny.
They went back to him being ready to run away in this when he kind of learned that lesson in the first movie. I thought, I was like, really?
Yeah, he's
running
away
to
again.
Do that? Like,
well, he wasn't running away. He was going.
He wanted to go get Rey.
He was looking to get Rey, and she.
But he was looking to go get Rey as a convenient side effect of him getting the fuck out of there because they were going to die.
Yeah, I thought his character this time was kind of flat.
Yeah,
and I almost thought.
I think his character was there as
remember
as a jumping point to introduce Rose.
Yeah, I know Rose is okay.
I like her. I like Rose. I like the character.
That's all right.
I like her.
I thought Finn was going to die, and when he was going towards the
you got to have at least one person. Speaking of the Rose character, you got to have at least one person that's the starry-eyed idealist, principal.
I don't know. She's okay.
She's got the motivation with the sister, and it's a well-developed character without a whole lot of.
I guess I don't know.
They didn't have to tell too. You know what I mean? I was
developing her character by her. I don't. I just wasn't intrigued. I thought it was going to be a good scene if Finn killed himself going towards that cannon. I thought that was. I was hoping for that. I was like, oh, he's going to kill himself. Cool.
Yeah, Finn was going to sacrifice himself.
Yeah, and I thought that was going to be a good scene, and then she saved him at the end, and I was like, oh, that's kind of ass. because I was like, okay.
She saved him, though, but at the expense of almost killing everyone else, though.
Yeah. But, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it was weird.
I mean, this whole year,
It's weird.
I was looking for
weird.
Blade Runner to be awesome, and I was looking for this to be awesome, and I'm just like, eh.
You know what, though? The few things in this that are awesome, I'm really glad exist.
Yeah, no, it was Mark Hamill's great. But again, it kind of pisses me off now because you killed this character off, and he could have done a whole nother movie or half a movie, and then kill him in the half of the movie. But you killed him off completely.
But you got to realize that there's a story arc that they're working on from the beginning that maybe that would really get in the way and would not fit in what they planned for this next.
Well,
film.
I tell you this,
and like I said,
I'll tell you this right now.
It feels like they've put the last nail in the coffin. This is the torch being passed.
The next one better be a grand fucking slam, dude. It better be the old Yankee Stadium, bottom of the ninth. 7th game of the World Series, full count, and Aaron Judge is up at the plate. Not only does he hit it, he hits it out the old fucking park into the fucking street. The ball goes. This is what they have to do in the next Star Wars movie, which they won't. But that's what solidified me. He goes, you know what? This trilogy is really fucking good.
There was a part of me that was
I don't know. They got
expecting this film.
The new movie, the one that comes out,
run.
Episode 9, has to be a grand fucking slam in my book. I have to say, dude, that was a 9. That was a 9.5.
But they're giving it to
God,
Johnson,
that was so good.
right? They're giving this film to Johnson, or are they giving it to Abrams?
Abrams is talking about maybe directing. I've been floating it out there that they should let
so
Spielberg
you know what?
do it.
Abrams is a smart guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll learn a few lessons from the criticisms of his film and this film.
Yeah, right.
And if
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's getting feedback. Maybe somebody will tell him to go, hey, listen to these two jerk-offs do a podcast.
You know what? J.J. Abrams is a better filmmaker than most people give him credit for.
Yeah, no. He's talented. No, by far. It's just sometimes stuff gets a little cutesy where I'm just like, it's a little cornballish. Because I watched the 2 Star Trek movies. And being a Star Trek person, too, I was skeptical because I was like, I
enjoyed the first one a lot.
Yeah, the first one's great.
I enjoyed a lot.
The second one is not so great.
It's okay.
It was okay.
There was stuff in it that was great.
Yeah, and it's tough. So that's why I don't know if I want him directing another Star Wars movie. I would say like Steven Spielberg would be great.
I want to stay away from the old guys. I want to bring in fresh blood, man.
Yeah, but the fresh blood was like those 2 guys who were doing a Han Solo movie, and they wanted to make Han Solo movie.
I don't want those guys.
They wanted to make it into a comedy. That's why they got booted off that fucking thing. Kathleen Kennedy was like, dude, you guys are fucking this movie up. It's not going this direction, and that's why they got
But
Ron
here's
Howard.
the thing about these Star Wars movies. We were lucky. I think we were lucky in this day and age with the state of the industry that we got these movies as good as they are.
Yeah, of
considering
course.
how movies are made these days.
Yeah.
You have boardrooms full of fucking people, and then you got all
You
these
know what it is?
test
It always comes down to the writing.
Stupid market research.
That's what it comes down. If the writing is good,
can we appeal to this market? And this market, is China going to fill the seats? Is this going to, you know what I mean?
But it always comes down to the writing. Star Wars aesthetics are fucking top notch. We said that. Character design, creature design, aesthetic, everything. It's just the writing. The writing's got to be good.
Yep.
And if it's good, then it's going to be a great classic
Well,
Star Wars
the story
movie.
arc's already kind of there. Right from the beginning. Like they didn't film the first movie without knowing where the story was going, for Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Right? So they know kind of where the characters, where the story, where everything's going to wind up, right? So I'm telling you, man, I think that these movies could have been a lot worse. I think this movie, despite all the problems we're bringing up with it, I really did enjoy it.
I like it. I'm going to go see it again. I've already been buying products from it already.
Yeah.
I got action figures already. I don't go bananas and buy shit.
Yeah,
but I'm going to buy certain characters
again.
And some cool shit.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe the next time I watch it, some of the slow pacing won't bother me as much because I've already experienced it, so that 2.5 hours won't feel like 5 hours. It might feel more like 3 hours.
We're just being, our
3.5
sci-fi
hours.
Yeah, our sci-fi geek geeks and just analyzing, and that's what we do.
Yeah, we're gonna overanalyze it more than the mainstream audience is going to.
Rob and I have been Star Wars kids since the inception of.
Yeah, my mom and dad are gonna go see Star Wars, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, that was fun! It was so cool, Luke Skywalker! And did you see that robot? And oh my God, that was that was so cool, But
next time,
we're freaking Star Wars junkies. We've read the comic books. We've read the we play the games, and we get involved with these characters. We have debates over it with our friends, and you know what I'm saying. We buy the toys. Like this is part of our. This is part of what we are. Right. And so we're gonna nitpick every little fucking
about
thing.
It. Yeah.
So, and everyone has their own personal idea of what would make the movie perfect. Some of the things that I didn't like about it, another person is gonna say, "You're crazy. That was great. I love that."
Right.
No,
I'm so happy for it all. I love it all. I'm just, I want to come out of the theater and go, oh my God, it was so good.
Of course. You want to do that every time you pay money to go see a film.
Good.
You're going to invest your
but this
time
is Star
and your
Wars.
money
We love this shit.
and energy to go.
We love this more than a lot of other stuff that's even in our real world.
Star Wars is
we love more of our make believe society.
Important.
We love more of our fiction of our lives than the nonfiction. And it's sad, but it's true though. So when it comes to Star Wars, I'm just like, I don't get a fucking Star Wars tattoo or anything, or I'm not like crazy, but I'm like,
well, there's different levels of fanaticism.
Yeah, it is. I'm just, when it comes to Star Wars, it's like, it's just got to be good for me. I just got to have it. I got to have it, and I want it to be good. That's all.
Yeah.
So
now,
I'm critical when it's shitty.
There's terms for it in Trek. You're either a Trekkie or a Trekker.
I think they're both the same, though. No, they're both the same. Because the reason why people...
I don't know. Trekkers tend to get tattoos and name their kids after Star Trek characters and cosplay. We don't do that. We're Trekkies. We just love Star Trek.
It just expanded. The thing is that
I can't tell you where to find, what I mean? I can't tell you the technical manuals. I can't tell you about that shit. Some fucking people can. Is there a name for that for Star Wars?
I don't know.
Star Wars freaks or Star Wars geeks? Where do we fit?
Freaks and Geeks, good television show, by the way.
Do I know every single thing about Star Wars Expanded Universe? Every single thing? No. But I've delved into it pretty deep. I've read a lot of stuff.
To go back to Star Trek, Trekkie was just a word.
Analyze the films.
Trekkie was just a word that they used to describe the people who like Star Trek, and
which is us.
Well, it's just a word.
But these days, they call people.
But people didn't
colloquially.
But they didn't.
Like how I could say words. I can speak words. I'm good at words.
You're good at that. I love that part of the movie.
I love it.
I love it when he goes down there and he puts on his lightsaber. And he goes. No, I'm saying is, if I could get this fucking thought out, is that it was Trekkie.
Right.
And people didn't like that as the years went by, because that's like, dude, I'm not a hippie. It's Trekkie, hippie. What do you mean? So people started saying, I'm not a Trekkie. I'm a Trekker.
Right.
Because they wanted to be like, I guess, taken more serious. But it's the same thing. You could call yourself a Trekkie or Trekker. It doesn't matter. It's all the same shit. Just the Star Trek lore.
In my experience, the people that call themselves Trekkers are the ones that wear fake Spock ears and name their
do they? I didn't know that.
Characters.
I didn't know that.
And the Trekkies are people like us.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know.
That's just the most widely.
So a Trekker is more hardcore.
Total hardcore.
Okay. Gotcha.
I just I have a lot of Star Wars stuff in this room, but there's only a few Trek items in my collection.
Right. Yeah. I guess I wouldn't be I'm not a Trekker then, but it's the same shit, because people say, "What are you, a Trekkie, Trekker?" Yeah, it's the
ultimately,
same shit.
I'm a sci-fi guy.
I'm a sci-fi person, but I will always like Star Wars and Star Trek, and people don't know what either or are, and I don't give a shit if they know what either or are. But that's just the thing now. It's just the Star Trek universe and the lore has just expanded even more. Conventions are bigger than ever. Anybody who's ever been on a Star Trek show goes to a convention and they make money.
Me and Balone went to a science fiction. It was just a sci-fi convention in New York years ago. It was small, and the only people were there were diehard
Yeah.
fucking sci-fi people.
I went to a Trek convention out in Long Island.
And it was
back in the
great.
day.
Now you go to Comic-Con now,
Yeah.
it's so corporate. There's too many people.
Well, it's a whole.
Price gouging.
Well, it's another
It's not
it's
what
another
it used to
subculture
be.
now. It's another subculture, and it's not just Comic-Con. It's all these other cons.
Well, this is why I like these game conventions I've been going to. Now, next year, you came with us this year. That same convention is moving to the Meadowlands next year. So let's see what happens to that over the years. If it keeps gaining steam, do I predict that it'll ever become like what Comic-Con is today? No. But do I foresee things getting
It doesn't matter
better over the years?
It doesn't matter, yes or no.
It'll
but
become more corporate at some point.
The people are just making these.
If it's successful.
There's a grassroots movement of all these. That's why I'll follow guys who are illustrators of sci-fi on Instagram, or artists or other actors who are sci-fi or directors, and they go to all these cons.
Cinematographers and stuff like
Cinematographers, editors, filmmakers.
Those are the guys you want to follow on Instagram.
Yeah.
I follow. Upload the greatest photos.
I follow a lot of artists. I don't do it for celebrity shit. I follow it for artists, and I follow a lot of illustrators. A lot of people who draw cartoons and are professional illustrators, and some people who taught themselves. Yes, I did.
Oh my god.
Couldn't help it.
I was looking forward to that cookie, you fucker.
Yeah, I'll get you a cookie.
You ate my cookie, you bastard.
I'm the Cookie Monster. Ooh. People are they're just going to every con now. Doesn't matter.
Grandma's chocolate.
They weren't that great.
chip. It wasn't that good.
No, the brownie.
Was it soft and gooey? Oh, it was brownie. That's why.
Ugh, wasn't that good? I was like,
I thought it was just a big soft chocolate chip cookie.
yeah, I'll get you one next time.
No, that's okay. I'll stick with
There's some candy over here in the.
Yeah, some. Izzy got me that Star Wars mug. Classic Star Wars mug came filled with strawberry candies. in it.
Little candies.
Yeah.
But no, I was saying that the Comic-Con convention thing is so big now that they're building ones in
I'm
other
not
states,
even
and people are
interested in
going
going
to them.
anymore.
It doesn't. You don't have to go to the San Diego one anymore. You don't have to go to the New York Comic-Con anymore. You can go to these other
in,
ones.
like St. Louis or Wisconsin.
Yeah, they're just
or some
sprouting
shit.
up, and people are going, and they're networking, and they're taking photos, and they're taking down friends. Like, hey, when you come in, this is actually a cool con you should come to, or a cool convention. So there always will be Comic-Con of San Diego. That will be. I mean, if you've never went, anybody go make the pilgrimage one day. It's kind of cool. I did it once.
I like the cosplay people at
Yeah.
conventions. It's always cool to see people get,
Yeah, that's the thing. The cosplay is so huge.
and it's a day where
So
they
huge.
can put on their favorite
Yeah.
costume and just
And that's
not
what it
be
is.
laughed at
it's-
on the street.
Comic-Cons are no longer like that anymore. They're all there's one called WonderCon, and they have I don't know all the names, but it's all sci-fi-ish and comic book-ish and movie-ish, and everybody goes. So
Indeed.
you have the comic book people who started it, and now you got the movie people, and you got the television shows now that deal with sci-fi, and the cosplay people.
Yeah.
And and it's all this shit now, and and various factions of role playing storylines of different sci-fi elements. So it's everything now. But how long is the show now?
I don't know. I'm not even paying attention to that.
It's been
I still, I started the recording in a weird spot, so I'm gonna have to edit it back.
It's been going
pull
on a
some of that stuff out
long
of the-
time. This is
out
gonna
of
be
the
a
front.
long one. Well, we went off the marker though. About. Are we done? Do you want to continue? Hey, they brought the music in a lot this time, which was really good.
Yeah. Did John Williams do it? I didn't notice the credits.
Yeah. That's another thing.
I liked the thing I did notice. Remember, I got up and left immediately. I was so thirsty, I had to find a water fountain or something.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me that bottle of water earlier.
Yeah, no problem.
But I did see on my way out before I left the
Carrie Fisher.
in loving memory of our princess Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. I was like,
And
shit,
I
Rob
got a
missed
little.
that.
I got a little.
Choked up.
Well, I felt it in my chest a little.
Yeah, of course we
on
all
my
did.
way out the door.
I mean, this is it bothers me because she's physically dead. God rest her soul.
Now, if I'm making this film, any snippet of film with Carrie Fisher,
yeah,
I want to put in the film so badly because it's her last performance. So I want to have her in the movie as much as possible if I'm making this film in post. But still, I think if I'm in the editing room, I'm cutting that fucking Harry Potter
Potter
scene out. That shit does not belong there.
Yeah,
And I don't blame her for that.
Well, I guess
They needed to show her do something strong in the Force. There was a million other ways to do it.
It wasn't long. It was kind of fast, but it was like yikes. You know, maybe it's the Jar Jar
It was
Binks
too long
moment.
for me.
It's the Jar Jar Binks movement. Is it the
No, but
corny
it
Ewok
was fucking silly. I was
is
like,
it the corny
really? We're
Ewok
doing
ceremony victory song at the end of Jedi?
this? No, Yub Nub.
Num, num,
That's not there anymore. Special edition changed it. They changed it. That's not there anymore.
Bingalanga bang, gaga, ding-a-ling-a-ling, boo boo, sambalambala, sambalambala.
Sucking on my knob.
Hong Kong, chagapadang, flong, chingam badadang, sakong de fi dabu, shangbalanga ding, singaling, bob. But I like it. It's corny. But and then the new
I'm
one.
pissed off that they changed that.
Well,
they took
because
it out.
Lucas wanted the Redux.
And they fucking put, Hayden Christensen in
I know. Well, how about that shit too? We could all go on about him doing his Reduxes and fucking everything up.
The Jabba's Palace musical number. And
Here's one good thing. Maybe
there's a lot of bad shit with
now
those
that Disney
fucking
just
special
bought
editions.
now
Just
that
clean up the fucking film, man.
I was
You
just
know what
about to
I mean?
say
Clean
now
up the film, give us a nice, good definition, remaster it that way.
now that Disney
Don't
has
do that kind of shit.
Disney
What the fuck is wrong with you?
owns
Bad Lucas.
bad Lucas.
Bad.
Bad Lucas.
Bad Lucas.
Now that Disney owns Fox, maybe they'll go back and do all the original trilogies just the way it was with no super effects put on.
You
I still
and
have-
I
Yeah.
both have respectively the only two ways that you could see those films the way they were originally intended. I have the original videotapes in excellent condition.
Yeah.
I have all three of them. And you have the DVD collection. The only time that it was put in widescreen on a DVD
Right.
without any of the cuts.
Right.
And that's hard to find.
Yeah, it's hard to find.
But, we
That's
need,
what I
we
mean.
need
I'm
a,
hope-
we need
I'm
a
hoping
UHD
Disney will-
4K version now
Well,
for the new
I think
technology.
If Disney went and said,
Release that shit.
yeah, if Disney said we're
Release
gonna,
it in theaters that way.
I don't give a shit. You can do that too, but just release it on Blu-ray and say, here's the original cut that everybody's been asking for, and they will go off the shelves.
I say give us one summer where you release
One
all
summer.
three movies. One
I
month
want
after
one
the other.
summer.
So
Promise
in
me
June,
one summer.
in June you release Star Wars remastered, but the original cut.
I agree.
And then in July, Empire, and then in August, Return of the Jedi, and then in November, right before Christmas, you put them all on one Blu-ray. You don't sell them separately. You sell them all.
I
in
don't
one
give a
little
shit
package.
if they want to make more
The
money on that
original
too.
remaster.
These greedy
That's
cocksuckers.
how we get
I don't
it.
care.
And you know what? it would make a ton of fucking money.
Yeah, no, I agree.
People would go see the original.
I-
These are the good Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
We're gonna go see those.
I think it's another way they'll make money, and
I
everybody
bet
who's a
they'll sell
Star
more
Wars
of
geek
those
will love it.
Blu-rays.
Part of their archive.
They'll sell more of those Blu-rays
Yeah.
than they sold the other Blu-rays,
Yeah.
even though people already have those. I bet you the overall sales numbers for those would be higher.
Yeah. No, just do it. I think they'll somebody will wake up there and do it, and
Just do it, Shy.
just do it, Shia LaBeouf.
Just do it.
do it. I should do it. I can't think of him now.
Just do it, Shy.
Dude, I told you I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna make money off it. I'm an actor. Take me serious.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So what are we going to talk about on our next podcast?
I don't know. We're gonna maybe we'll get something new in, but we're trying to create a podcast of Star Trek with our friend Tony, and that's gonna be.
I hope he agrees to it.
Yeah,
I know I mentioned it to him, and he said yeah, but
the thing,
I don't know if he's listened to these to see if he wants to be involved with a show like this.
Well, all I know is that do we have an extra mic? Do we have a third mic?
I have another mic. It's not this caliber. It's
Well,
not this quality.
we'll
but
just get.
It is a vocal mic.
Okay, we'll just get another one of these.
I
new
can
mics.
even borrow a condenser mic from one of my friends.
All right. Well, whatever.
Actually, I
this
think
is,
I'll do that. I'll get a condenser mic from Christian.
We'll get another mic. We'll get another stand, and we'll do a run through and just practicing with us. See if a third person will work with it, and then we'll just have him come up. But our shit's got to be like set up stellar, so he can just sit down and be comfortable and stuff. So, there's going to be a lot of ball busting. That's a lot. There's going to be a lot of that. So, but
There's going to be a lot of Tony Loves Skippy's number 84729.
I'm going to be like a lunatic.
Now, see, that always confused me. I know it exists. I know how long it's existed. I sort of kind of know, it came from you and all that. But I understand, okay, Tony Loves Skippy's. I don't know. It's ridiculous, but, it's funny. 8472, species 8472.
No.
But where does the 9 come in?
Number 84729.
Because in Star Trek you have species 8472.
It was just a number I made up.
84729.
Has nothing to do with that. I just made that number up.
So you literally just made up randomly the same number they made up in Star Trek.
I don't think it's the same one.
Because actually, wait a minute. Tony Loves Skippy's number 84729
is not the same
older than
Voyager.
Species 8472.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with that.
Because I remember the first time watching a Voyager episode back in the day where Species 8472 came into play.
And
I laughed my ass off.
Yeah. It's just stupid shit I said as a
Tony
kid.
Loves Skippy's number 84729.
And
Tony Loves Skippy's number 847 of 9.
It's Skippy's of 9, yeah. And Skippy's is just a character from that Michael J. Fox show he did. And it had Skippy. Skippy. He was the character on there.
I remember Skippy.
Yeah, and I don't know. And I guess we were watching
just out of nowhere.
And I said, Tony Loves Skippy's number 84729. And it doesn't mean anything.
But what was the number 84729? Like, is there any relevance at all?
It's just stupid random shit that came out of my mouth.
I'm trying to take the magic away from it a little bit by asking for an explanation.
No, it's fine.
I had to know if there was some.
It's a ridiculous thing.
It's completely ridiculous.
But there's somewhat of a lore to it, and it's just accepted.
And the funny thing is that all these years later, there's several people that if you ask them, like we could call Lubick right now and say, Tony loves, finish this sentence, Tony loves Skippies, and he would say number 84729. So it's memorable. It's stuck.
Oh no, it's great. Well, especially Jess. I mean, he is like.
Oh yeah.
He's like the PR man of Tony Loves Skippy Lover. He will be like.
Well, when you started that page was great. That was funny.
Oh, I had to do that.
Yeah, that was very funny.
That and then you followed up later making a video game.
Yes.
Which was
the Little Big Planet.
Which I was really impressed. I was like, Rob.
Star Trek, the 84729 encounter.
Oh, I was like, this is genius.
No, it was Star Trek, the number 84729 encounter was the name of the level.
It was awesome, and people rated on it, said they liked it and shit. It was because you did a really good job. I was really impressed. I was like, great. This is never going to end.
I made an updated version of that. Was
did
really
you?
Cool.
I'd love to see that.
Great intro with the Star Trek.
Oh, I'd love to see that, man.
Great lighting.
You got next time. You got to show me that.
Yeah, but I had a problem loading it last time. I think I had to do with the PS3. There was something conversion of it to Little Big Planet 3 that was a little strange.
So just the idea that I opened a Star Trek. MySpace page back in the day, and I would just go around
MySpace,
and I went around and I just clicked on Star Trek people, Trekkies, Trekkers, whatever the fuck you want to label them, and I would just get them,
add them.
What?
And you would just add them to your shit.
And before you know it, like within a day, I had like over like 2,000 people.
It was all Trek.
It was all Trek people, and I would show shit and post stuff, and people would be like, "Awesome!" And it was just a little experiment to see.
Little fan Trek page.
Right, but what's Facebook about? What's social networking is about? What is this community about? And it was just like, look, all I have to do is like this, and people flock to me.
Right.
So I didn't have to be
build
smart
a page
or stupid. Yeah. I just
copy paste. Pretty much.
I could have been a fat person, a skinny person, an old person. They didn't give a shit. They just liked the idea that I was in Star Trek. So it was just this weird social experiment I was doing. Like, are these people liking me for who I am and my biography, or are they liking me just because of what I'm into?
Here's the thing. The anonymity, especially with back with, MySpace and the type of page you were
Right.
doing. It's not a factor.
Right.
It was the content.
Right, but when this thing was starting out, because MySpace was before Facebook.
Oh yeah,
so everybody was
I had
flocking.
a few MySpace pages.
Right, everybody's flocking. It was
I
just
had
an
a music
experiment
one,
I
I
was
had
doing.
a personal one.
I was into Trek, and I decided to do it, and that's it. And I remember I showed you guys, and especially you and Jess, where you laughed your balls off. You like
it was one of the funniest moments.
It was just like, this is genius.
It was one of the greatest internet moments for me.
Yeah, and then you took it upon yourself because I would carry on about that shit and Star Trek, and then out of the blue, you're like, yeah, I made this fucking game with Tony, and I was like, you're the best, Rob. I love you. You're carrying the torch. He's continuing our Tony Loves Skippy's lore into the future. It's not dying. The Jedi's not dying. The lore is continuing.
Star Trek, the number 84729.
So maybe that should be the name of the episode.
We're gonna have to tell Balone to listen to this
episode. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
he'll get an idea.
Him and Star Trek a little.
So he'll get an idea.
Yeah. In a Star Wars episode, of course.
But I don't care if we go off.
And you know how some people are. There are people who are like all Star Wars, fuck Trek, and there are some people that are all Trek, fuck Star Wars. We're not.
We're not that. No, I'm.
Balone too. Balone's
a
big
Balone,
Star Wars guy.
You and I and Balone are rare because we both equally like Star Trek and Star Wars. There's people I know who don't like Star Trek at all. They love Star Wars. I don't know too many people just like Star Trek. Most people like Star Wars and they don't like Star Trek. We're rare that we like both equally. Yeah. So, but not only we want to do a Star Trek Tony, I want to also pick his brain about Star Wars and what he thinks going on with the new lore and stuff like that.
Yeah, listen, the episode is like, okay, fine. The placeholder is Star Trek, but we could look at
like
every episode we do, we're going to talk about whatever the fuck we feel like talking about.
But we're totally going to go off on
one
the Tony.
One thought's going to spawn off another topic.
We're just going to go off though on the Tony Loves Skippy.
Yeah, I don't want to give him. I don't want to make the whole episode about that, but we got to give him some grief on that.
Oh, I'm gonna.
You know what though? I think. I
think we just let it go.
If I were him, I'd like it. Whatever. It's
oh, funny. I want him to be like, shut up.
It's not even a personal thing. Yeah. Oh, he's definitely gonna. He want us to shut up. He's definitely gonna want us to shut up.
I'm gonna have to do a little Tony Loves Skippy's Tourette's looping mind thing. I got to get it out. But
so what do we call this? Our Sithmas episode?
Sithmas episode. No, it's the Last Jedi review and reaction.
Yeah.
Make sure you space it more from. I noticed when you put it on the thing, you have it. You have the Theater Investigative Team show, but you got to space it a little bit more and then put in like the Last Jedi review because the spacing's too close. So you want a little bit more
spacing.
Spacing. When you type it in on the when you put it on YouTube.
Right.
When you're typing it in, have a little bit more space.
The further apart you make it, the less of it you see in the title and a thumbnail, though.
Okay. But give it a little bit more, like one or more.
I was actually thinking about ways to make it shorter so you could see something in the...
Yeah.
Like T.I.T.S, Star Wars.
Yeah, no, but you got to put Theater Investigative Team
episode, show. I like to have episode 1, episode 2, episode 3.
Yeah, you got to put that in. Just put The Last Jedi in.
I guess I could abbreviate EP, EP.1, EP.2.
Yeah, you could do that.
Do that. But I've already...
I don't care. Yeah. I'm just saying just space it so people can read it more. I want it... Because I notice it doesn't stand out. Because it looks like you're just reading a run-on sentence. And it's like, well, where's the spacing between Theater Investigative Team show and our actual label? Maybe
I think I have it like...
Why did you... No, you know what?
It's like
just
T.I.T.S episode 4
Put
Star
a hyphen.
Wars.
What I'm saying is put a hyphen in between... Theater Investigative Team show
or a colon
or whatever.
Colon would make more sense.
Colon makes put a colon in so people can read it. That's all I'm saying. That's
T.I.T.S
fine.
episode 4 Star Wars.
Or you could put Theater Investigative Team show because I don't know if people know about.
I think that's too long for a thumbnail.
Okay, whatever. Well, the thumbnail.
Because you'll never see in the thumbnail what it's about. You'll just see Theater Investigative, and that's it. Like you won't even see the whole title.
All right. Do whatever, because people are gonna know. They want to know the name of Theater Investigative Team show, and then they'll realize, oh, it's a joke. We call it an acronym, a different name. But when you click on YouTube and you see the title, you want to see Theater Investigative Team show. If you want, there's areas to put more description in. Do that down there lower. Put a description in more because people will read the description. Like a brief thing, like, here we do is review the show, the movie, and
well, now that the movie's out, it should be easier to get better film stills than the ones that were available just from the trailers. Sure. So I'm hoping to have some good film stills. You know, I want to have a one or two, at least for that throne room. And I want to have film still from when they did when she does the hyperdrive through the ship.
Yeah.
Some of those images were very cool.
And I'll send you some of the stills I've been taking of
and
Star
that
Wars.
Those low angle of Kylo and Luke. Yeah, hopefully I can get a couple of those.
No, I've taken some photos recently of like marquees in Manhattan and taxi cabs in Manhattan with the logo and the advertising. It's pretty dope. I'll email them to you and you can put them in.
Yeah, in the email would be better because then I could do it right on the.
Yeah. I'll send it email.
Instead of putting it on my phone and then sending it to myself and then
the phone is so low grade anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't work well, but are we good with this episode? Or?
Yeah, I guess it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
So
lug bug.
There's parts of me that want to give this there's parts of me that want to give this a really low score. There's other parts of me that want to give this an amazing score. So I'm gonna lean somewhere just above mid-ground and stick with 7.
7? Okay. I give it a 7.5.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to see it again. I think we should go see it again.
Yeah.
Not too soon, but like maybe in a couple weeks from now we'll set up a date and go.
Yeah. So a 7, my 7 is a 7 with there are parts of it that are so good. They're a 10. But there's some parts that drag it down so far that they drag it down almost into the 4s or 5s.
Yeah.
So my 7 is, I think for mainstream audiences, though, a lot of mainstream audiences, a lot of those nitpicky things are going to get right past them. I still think, I can't imagine anyone in the audience not, breathing a sigh of...
it's funny. I was watching
frustration with the Harry Potter float.
Yeah,
and I hope people know what we're talking about. The Harry Potter float when she floats back to the ship.
Yeah,
I don't know what else to call it. I just said Harry Potter.
Kylo was about to blow up the bridge of her cruiser, but
his wingman did it instead
because he felt his mom's presence and he
backed off.
And then
his wingman blew it up.
Wingman blew it up, and she was exposed to outer space
for quite a while.
And I thought, like, oh wow, they killed her off that fast.
Yeah.
Shit. I was like, she's dead already. And then
they could have done that there.
But I don't think you even needed to write that scene in. That was my whole point.
That did not need to be there at all.
Yeah, you didn't even write the scene.
They needed her to kind of be out of the movie for a little while.
What the fuck is that noise outside, Rob?
It's a train.
Jesus, where do you live? On the other side of the railroad tracks?
It's a locomotive.
You live on the other side of the tracks, don't you? Baked beans and bacon.
Beef and beards.
You were one of those bush people who live on the other side of the railroad
Bushes,
tracks.
best baked Boston beans,
You
beards,
live on the
beans,
other side
bacon,
of the
and
railroad
beef.
tracks. You beef, beacon, bean, eating, beacon.
Beef and beacon beans.
Beacon eater. You're the beef.
Oh, motherfucker.
Now, anyway, she gets blown in outer space, and because she has the Force, I guess she has a force field around her, but it's not implied.
I don't know. She uses the Force to
She uses the Force to have her from not...
After she's already frozen.
Yeah,
in space.
she's frozen.
She's already got ice on her.
Ice, right? There was ice on her.
Yeah.
And she holds her breath really well and stops her heart, I guess, and floats back.
Yeah.
In a Harry Potter-like, because she has,
it just felt like a children's movie that moment. It really did. It felt like a children's movie. It was fucking ridiculous. She had to feel ridiculous.
She has a dress. She has a gown on, so it kind of looks like it's floating, and she goes like in a Harry Potter Peter Pan kind of trajectory.
It's fucking the Peter Pan moment.
Yeah, it was the Peter Pan trajectory.
Peter Pan trajectory.
Yeah,
that's the Peter Pan maneuver.
The Peter Pan trajectory, and she goes back and she finds an airlock and she comes in and she saves herself, and I was just like, what the fuck? And I think that's what a lot of people...
There were so many other ways she could have got damaged.
Right. I don't think they could
and put in a med bay, you know?
Don't have Kyle, don't have that scene where he blows her up. There's no need to show that.
No, that scene was good where he came off the trigger and they shot. She should have gotten hurt there, but she didn't have to get flown out to space and then survive somehow and do that. There could have been a fucking big explosion on there. And everyone in the room could have died.
I guess
she's there. Oh my God, we're losing her. She's all fucked up.
Ryan Johnson wanted the Peter Pan moment.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking.
I don't know. I was just like, I was a little like.
And there were other moments where I'm like, what is he thinking here? Yeah. But that was the worst one. That one, that one
Harry
really.
Potter.
I shifted in my seat when that happened. I don't know if you noticed. Like I was sitting back all relaxed when that happened. I'm gonna step away from the mic. When that happened, I was like this. I was just like I was watching it, and I was all comfortable in my seat like this, and I was just like.
Oh yeah, you did one of those.
One of these,
jeez.
Rest my neck, and I was like, my God. I know I stepped too far away from the mic for that, but I had to give
I
you
got
the
it.
visual.
It was totally like you were a big sigh of like.
It's just like really
disgust.
Yeah, it wasn't disgust. It was just like ugh.
Yeah, it was a disgust. It was the subtle one.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. That's the only. Well, it's only if. It's not a big scene, but it's a scene that makes an impact, and he's just like, yikes.
It's so obvious. It sticks out like such a sore thumb.
Other than that,
that's a big blemish.
I told you I love the scene when Luke is in rage from Kylo's point of view, that he almost striked him.
We spoke about that.
You're like, evil Luke, because people are so much talking about, like, what if Luke went to the dark side and was with Vader and they took the galaxy over? Everybody always talks about that.
No.
Like this whole alternative shit. It's
his whole concept, pretty much even leading, even sort of towards the end, even though he kind of goes, okay, fine, and I won't be the last of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But at the same token, like, I agree with his philosophy personally.
Yeah.
That there needs to be balance in the Force. And that Jedi and Sith are both inherently just bad ideas.
And that's it.
There are people that disagree with me on that, but me personally, I was having this discussion with a friend of mine where I was even saying that if that world were a reality and I lived in that universe and I happened to be a Force user, I wouldn't be following either of these religions or whatever you want to call them. I would be under the technical definition of gray, which would be someone who doesn't follow the religions. But I think if people would compare me to a Jedi, because I would use it to help people, I would use it to do good. I would use it for personal gain.
I love all that. I love how they're explaining this and exploring this part of the Force, which was never explained unless
that was one of the things about Star Wars.
Now,
okay, fine, it's black and white, it's easy, whatever, old school movies. But it's if you need it to change with the times and grow up, then give us more shades of gray in our characters. Kylo Ren is a very complex character now.
Yeah.
He was a complex character in the first one. I thought.
I thought he was really good. He's really good in this one.
Letting you know, he did a great job.
He's awesome.
He did a great job.
Adam Driver's awesome in this.
Yeah. I have one friend of mine that
great villain.
does not like him and says he should leave the mask on at all times because he has a punchable face. But I like him.
Yeah, no,
I like him.
He's a really good actor.
He's a weird looking dude.
Yeah.
But so what?
But he plays a great villain.
He acts with his face well.
Yeah.
And you got to think there's a whole range of emotions that are not that like some actors are going through their story arc and they have to emote certain expressions throughout their story arc. He has to have a whole range of emotions at the same time.
Right.
He's at constant struggle, and he did it very good in this film. Where is he struggling towards the light? Is he struggling towards the dark? Is you know what I mean? There's so many. All these different facets of him that we're learning as it's going on. He does a really good job.
Oh, yeah. No, he's... I love his fucking TIE fighter.
I'm giving him credit.
His TIE fighter is dope. I might have to get one of those.
Yeah.
Like the
get
one
a little toy.
with the figure. You actually put the action
figure?
figure?
You mean the big one?
Yeah, I'm thinking about might even get that. Go geek like that and get one. Because that one is... I think I'll definitely get a small figurine one, but the ship is so dope.
Yeah,
it's the TIE fighter. You see, that's the thing about Star Wars is that the all the drawings of back in the day when they did Star Wars, they're so fucking dope, and the artist that he got.
Concept. You talk about the old
Oh, the
concept
concept art,
when
yeah,
they-
yeah.
Before when they were making the designs.
Yeah. Is so like they've taken so much from that, and to watch those, to see those original drawings, is so amazing.
I
And
like how some of the stuff that was concept art that didn't make it into the film or make it into the final design.
Right.
You know, because or something that like, you know, like a certain, you know, a certain helmet shape or a weapon shape or a clothing design of a costume.
Right.
Winds up evolving into something else that we wound up seeing on the film. But then some of the newer stuff is throwbacks to some of those older ideas.
Yes.
And you could see
You
some
know
of
that
it in a
in
lot
Force
of different
Awakens.
places.
He does that in the Force
A
Awakens.
lot of places.
Because there's an action figure they made in the Force Awakens that it was a concept drawing of a character that they never made a figure of, but they made it and they showed the character in the Force Awakens. It's a scene when they go to that planet and they go into that bar in the Force Awakens. I forget where where they meet that woman.
Yeah, Maz Kanata.
Maz Kanata, where they meet her, that little bar they're hanging in. And one of the characters from the original 1970s drawings
made its way
into it, and they made an action figure. And I was like, oh, that's fucking dope.
Very cool.
So I had to get that figure because I was like, dude, this is something they made back in the 70s, and they made it to fruition now. It's an actual character in a movie and a figure.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about Star Wars.
They literally went back to the source.
Yeah, he did.
Material.
That's what, and he was smart about that, Abrams. That's why
Source concepts.
Yeah, that because he wasn't too sure how to go about this movie.
Well, those artists, those original artists that were coming up with all that
But
stuff.
that's
were
what I
brilliant.
love about Star Wars.
So many great fresh ideas.
Those concept art is fucking great, man. It's so good. You don't even question it. You
I have
don't
that
even
old
question
school
it.
ILM book, that really
Yeah, me
big, thick
too.
one.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great stuff in
great
there.
stuff. That's why I
'Cause that
collect-
has nothing to do with any of the new prequel. That's all classic trilogy.
Classic. And I keep
what
all
led
that
up
shit.
to all the designs.
And I want that for my archive. So when I look back at it and I go, wow, this stuff was... That's the shit I collect of Star Wars.
Yeah.
All those concept art books, all the art books. Every time the movie comes out, I buy the new art book. And I buy a lot of art books of conceptual drawing and set design and the aesthetics of other sci-fi movies. But when it comes to Star Wars, I get all that kind of shit. Because I want that. I want to know the storyline behind that, the concept of it, you know, how it came to fruition, and who start, you know, just the whole lore of it. I love it, and I just like preserving that for my own collection. I don't go out and get the crazy shit and people buy all this dopey shit of everything Star Wars. I just want what I want from Star Wars.
So hey, listen. Besides a potential Star Trek episode in our near future, any other ideas or anything else you?
I don't know. I was thinking
needs to be spoken about.
We don't know when this Tony one's coming, so we're
hopefully in the next handful of weeks.
Well, you know, we have to talk more and arrange to set up to do a show.
Is there anything else that like you know that you?
I have a list
haven't
somewhere
mentioned of
at my
stuff that you-
apartment. I have to get the list again. Maybe an upcoming movie's coming up. We should go see another review.
I want to do an episode, but I don't know if you want to do it.
What?
On the Logan's Run movie and TV series. But I think I really love the TV series for a lot of different reasons.
we could talk about
for
that.
the good reasons and bad reasons. But I don't think you got into it as much as I did. Did you get through them?
Yeah, no, I watched every other television one.
I've watched those television shows so many times.
I think they're kind of corny, and I think you got a certain niche to them because you like them.
The things I like.
I
about
don't think
them,
they're great
I'd rather
production
get into
value
then,
and shit, but I accept them for what they
A
were.
lot
at
of
the
the
time.
original Trek writers were the writers for that show.
Yeah, there was some good stuff, and some is. I mean,
I like the bad. Part of what I like about those is the bad.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good too, though.
I don't know. It wouldn't be the first topic I'd want to do.
It would be a show that I would like to do, but I don't know if that's something you would like to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to get back.
Logan's Run is a great story. It's a good
great
piece of
movie.
sci-fi.
I like the movie.
It's something that, I would like to eventually share. You know what? Maybe, we never even thought about this, where we're going to figure out a way that if you were at home and just wanted to, like, talk for half an hour about something, about a movie or whatever, and you could fucking just bounce that down, send it to me, and I can make it Greg's thoughts on this, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we could do
it's
that.
just a little episode of just you. And then maybe one day I'll do a Logan's Run thing and talk about all the things I like
Right.
about Logan's Run. So I don't have to make, you suffer on that.
Right. No, I hear you.
Or
No,
something that
it's a
one
cool
of us
idea.
may be much more well-versed in
Yeah.
than the other, but deserves a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
we
those
could
are
work
some
on
ideas
Yeah,
we
that's
could
some
throw
ideas. I don't care. I just like it when we have a better mutual likeness for something, because then it works better in the store.
Yeah. I think the show's more entertaining
Yeah.
with the two of us going back and forth, too.
For all the 5 listeners we have,
5.
if that. We're lucky.
Yeah.
All right, is this a wrap, this one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is like 3 hour one, 4 hour.
I don't think so. It doesn't
You'll
feel that
fuck
long.
around with the editing though. You'll
But
be good.
not too much cut out. Just
All
that
right,
little
go
shit at the
see
beginning.
The Last Jedi. I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna go see it. I have other friends I have to go see it with.
Yeah.
I got to see it with you again. We'll probably maybe see it a third time. We'll and then we'll definitely come back and be like, you know what? After the third viewing or fourth viewing, and of course sometime in
the Blu-rays come out. But you know what?
probably
we'll be
March will
mentioning-
come out the Blu-ray.
I think in
April.
every episode we've mentioned Star Wars at least once in each one of these episodes. So.
Well, we're finally talking about Star Wars.
yeah.
We've been talking
we
about
talked about Star Wars at good lengths on.
and other ones, but we've never had a whole show that was just Star Wars.
It's probably a good hour worth of Star Wars combined in our last 3 episodes. So
Yeah.
well, there's an episode of Star Wars mixed in with all of that. So we're always going to talk about it. So it's not like we're never going to talk about this movie again.
Yeah.
Probably going to talk about this movie in the next 3 episodes we do because it's fresh on our mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Shit, we brought up Blade Runner again. I said Alien Covenant, but that was just to fuck with you.
What do you think of Alien Covenant, Rob?
The more I watch it, the more I like it.
Really? Oh my God!
Oh yeah.
They phoned that fucker in.
Oh yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Gets my nipples.
Yeah,
hard.
we'll see what new movies are coming up. Maybe we'll do another movie review.
Yeah. There's really nothing on the horizon I'm interested in. Though.
I have to look. There's stuff coming up, but
Such as.
I know there's stuff coming out. I don't know what is coming up immediately, but I know there's always sci-fi movies.
I'm not one to do an episode on any Marvel stuff.
Me either. That's not
The
gonna.
only
happen.
way I'll talk about them is probably to shit on something
No.
somewhere. And
We still have to do our show called Burn the Negative, where
we got to tear something apart.
I think we. You know what? We'll concentrate on that. You got to start making a list of movies.
But what do you want to do? Just Burn the Negative. Is that going to be a movie that's popular with most audiences, but we're going to tell you why you're wrong and how much it sucks and why it needs to be destroyed? Or is it going to be some movie no one's ever heard of, but it's just or very few people have heard of, that's a really bad movie, like The Room, for example, or
I haven't seen that. I want to watch that.
or Samurai Cop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it going to be that? Because those movies will not be on Burn the Negative. I cherish.
No.
Cherish those
I hear The
films.
Room is hilarious, and I want to see that now.
Samurai Cop is great too. Lubitsch in Samurai Cop 2.
Oh,
Lucky
is he?
bastard, he got into Samurai Cop 2.
Oh, nice. Good for him.
And I didn't know that until he was just in.
Nice.
So yeah, I got to watch that now.
Yeah, no, Burn the Negative.
I don't think it's ever going to be the original. You can't. It's lightning in a bottle. It's
Burn
so
the
terrible.
Negative is just going to be movies that you despise.
So we're not going to focus on just one film. It's just Burn the Negative episode is movies where all we do is piss on a movie.
I think you should have at least you should have a list of at least like 30 movies, and then I have a list of at least 30 movies, and then we just
That's
go off.
60 films that we're going to talk about in one episode, or we're going to have these on cue.
No, it'll be like one episode, like, because how long are you going to talk on one movie? You'll say like, why did you hate this movie, or you think it should be the negative should be burned because of this.
Burn the Negative would be great if we could find a way to have the film, like, obviously not play the whole, because you can't play the whole movie. Well, unless we're doing like a mystery science.
No,
theater
I don't
thing.
want to do that. I just want a list of the movies you think that suck.
A way that we could like show why we're shitting on the movie.
No.
Would be helpful.
No.
Even if it's just in clip form.
No. It's too much. It's overload.
It's too much work.
Yeah, it's too much work, and people just want to hear us talking. If they even want to hear us. But
or film us watching the movie.
No,
cut the pieces out.
No, that's
where
too
we
involved.
shit on it the worst.
No. It's too involved for a little show like this.
It could be a show. It could be a camera over the shoulder with a screen in the background.
It's just going to be a show of movies that you think that suck, and we're going to rank on them and laugh our balls off, and that's it. It's simple. It'll probably be an hour.
Yeah.
That's all. You can go, why these 30
once
movies?
I start shitting on something, I don't know how to stop.
But it's okay. I'll have a clock and go, okay, man, we got to go off, but we'll come back to this. And it would be great because it'd be like, I don't know if you guys ever seen this movie, but blah 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 blah. It was a hunk of shit and blah blah.
Give me a taste. What's one of the films on your list? Can you think of any offhand, or are you something you really want to sit down?
Jennifer Lopez movie, Made in Manhattan.
I haven't even heard of it.
Exactly. Do you think that should be in distribution anymore?
I haven't seen it, so
J-Lo's
you're going to be the
gorgeous.
one.
I think she's an attractive woman.
It does,
but
I don't. That's
movie's horrible.
That's nothing. That's
we don't need to see that movie ever again in the
that's
world.
Not a factor for me in a film.
Well, this is the
attractiveness of the actor.
Well, whatever. I'm just
I know what you mean.
I just happen to like her looks. She's hot.
Sure,
but
J-Lo,
Jenny from the block, but.
Or as some of my friends would say, Robbie from the block. I don't know if any of them are going to be listening to this, but
there you go.
It's a little
little
nickname I've earned.
There's a movie that doesn't need to be distributed anymore. So it's just that, another 29 movies to that list, and go. So
that's all.
That's all.
Just 60 films between the two of us.
Yeah,
it's no problem. Pick the 60 worst.
Yeah, you do 2 minutes on each one. It will go real quick. So that's what we'll.
How about we balance it by doing a Burn the Negative show where we have all these movies that we want to shit on.
No.
But as a saving grace, we have a small little section. We have our top 5 terrible movies that are must see because they're so bad they're brilliant.
Oh, we could do that in general, but I would just
The Room.
Yeah, we could do that.
Or Samurai Cop.
We could do that. But
because there are movies like that.
Let's do an episode. Yeah.
For me, Elves is one of those films.
Well, let's just do a movie. Yeah.
Elves is terrible, but it's wonderful.
Yeah. There's movies like that.
What's his name? Guy who played Grizzly Adams. Why am I forgetting the actor's name? He's been in a bunch of those bad movies. But, anything with him in it is going to be so bad it's good.
Yeah. No, but that's just an idea.
Okay. All right. It's a little more solid of an idea now.
Yeah. That's it. It's very simple concept. It's not like we're smashing the atom here or anything.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So
that's it.
That being said,
Rob. With that being said, how long is this fucking long ass podcast? This one we haven't done one in a while. So.
The only person who knows is me after I edit it, and then you when it gets uploaded. Won't know until it's edited.
And cue the music.
All right, guys. So next time, who knows? We may have some Burn the Negative or some Star Trek with special guest Tony Loves Skippies, number 84729.
We don't know when.
On the Investigative Team Show.
See ya.
Peace.